And we're live.
Yo, welcome everybody. Thursday night, choo-choo, motherfuckers. Bold Alpha Wolf Pack started off with a single ticket that the herd theorem got. So attention, ladies and gentlemen, we're not starting tonight at a Mach 2.0. No, that's right. The Fun Speculation Network hype train is at an early 2.25. That's right, Mach 2.25, because the one and only Bold Alpha Wolf Pack got on the court with an easy mid-range jumper that was swished. So guess what, everybody? Buckle up and get ready, because we're about to start this show. So I just wanted to make that announcement early. Thank you, Bold Alpha Wolf Pack. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Listen, y'all, welcome to another episode of PM and the PM Pong and Mav and the PM. It has been a long minute since you've seen either myself or Mav on a show, because after PM and the PM last week, basically all my shows got canceled. Mav got canceled all his shows to go watch his Mavs lose, right?
Oh.
They got one. So
yeah,
they got the gentleman sweep. Yeah, so you haven't seen us in a while. There has been obviously a lot coming out. Today was your normal Thursday where stuff starts popping off. Interviews happen, right? All these games get updates, and all of a sudden we got limited run games today, which I don't necessarily like their company for a lot of different reasons, but they're bringing back a lot of classics that are re-releasing this year and next year. In fact, one of my favorites from the PlayStation 1 is coming back. So we're going to talk about that. And as the thumbnail says, everybody, thank God for fucking Nintendo. Where would this games industry be if we didn't have Nintendo showing up with a showcase like they did and making everybody remember E3?
Oh, they saved this E3, this non-E3. They saved it.
They saved
it.
They saved it.
Yeah.
Oh, as you can tell, Mav's been trolling on Twitter. If you guys on X, making some posts, so you know he's already riled up. Both of us agreed. We both liked the show. But obviously you can tell we've had some things boiling, watching some of the reactions, to, the Nintendo showcase, Nintendo Direct, I should call it, is what it officially is, along with some of the, media once again, telling you who they are.
Clear as
again,
day.
what's the famous saying now? If somebody tells you who they are, believe them. All right. And if the Nintendo bias has never been more apparent, Mav, we can't show you anything else. But anyways, we will get into that. So thank God for Nintendo. We're going to talk about that as well. But what a Thursday. Good to be back in the hot seat yet again. It has been a minute since I talked, and especially since Mav has talked as well. So we're going to get a lot off our chest tonight, and we're going to have a good time doing it. And we're going to talk some games too. A lot of cool stuff today. We might be getting a September game of the year out of nowhere by the looks of things. Yeah, I might be a little over the top, but my God, Space Marine 2 is looking good. They dropped a new video today that was just absolutely incredible. So we'll get into a bunch of that stuff, but let me get to the co-host with the most. That's right, the man, the CEO of the Fun Speculation Network, the man who put the Fun Speculation hype train together, along with the beautiful Miss Caitlin, who once again just crushed the thumbnail. I didn't even know Mav saw that I had put a title in the DMs for him tonight, because he wasn't responding. I just thought he was busy. So I didn't even know. And all of a sudden I saw Caitlin's post on my way home while I was driving. I was like, yo, she pulled it off exactly what I was thinking. So thank you, Caitlin. But that's right, the man who gives up the chair on Thursday nights, the lead chair to me, to be just a little side guy who runs everything in the background. But, we're probably going to get a Mav rant tonight. So the one and only Fun Speculation, a.k.a. Mav, outside of your favorite basketball team, shit in the bed, how's your week been, brother? What else you been doing?
Oh, it's been good. Been mostly playing some Diablo and trying to drown my sorrows with the Mavs' unfortunate demise in the finals. And congratulations to all the Celtics fans out there. That team is just ridiculous. Really good. And the Mavs looked average against them. My Mavs. Yeah. It was cool though to see them get to the finals. But other than that, yeah, some Diablo work has been kind of busy, and just that's pretty much all I've really been playing, man. It's just Diablo here and there. I kind of like leave it on the screen and like I'll do other things and play here and there, and it's been a blast. Been that loop of just constantly going back and doing the whatever you call it in the Hell Tide, where you go to the skull guy and do that over and over and over again.
Yep, do the ritual.
Yeah, I'm like pretty close to level 80 now, so
nice.
Yeah, I'll get up to 100, I think, in the next couple days, and I have a rogue build, and I actually went and did the meta for it and stuff for the Heartseeker.
Nice.
So I'm doing massive damage and stuff, dude. It's absolutely awesome. Having a blast. So, and when we talked before about it being some people having trouble like with level hundreds and there, getting crushed and stuff, like in my level 79 to 80 or whatever I hit earlier, it's cruising on through, man. Like a breeze. So whatever this build is that I found is pretty damn good. But yeah, I've been having some fun with that, man. It's been crazy. Like we have not had a show on this channel since last PM in the PM.
Right.
I did cancel Xbox Ultimate. I canceled FSP because I wanted to watch the Mavs live. It worked out for Ultimate. They won. Didn't work out for FSP. We lost. But I was so glad to watch those games. And yeah, and you kind of like had the weekend off for podcasting too, bro. Like the shop is on hiatus right now. Steel, and you had to postpone that show and for this week, and then we canceled Xbox Ultimate. So yeah, like the weekend free of podcasting. I did. Dude, so it was crazy. But yeah, man, I'm glad that we're back because man, this Nintendo Direct, Pong. Oh my God, I mean, it just like it saved everything, and we got to talk about how much it saved everything, and have our full reactions to that. But also games media and stuff. There's been a lot of little things. I haven't tweeted too much recently, but sometimes I see something, I'm like, oh my God, this is just getting ridiculous right now. So I'll put some stuff out there, and you can tell who doesn't get it and who does get it and stuff, right? But it's been fun, man. But what have you been up to?
Man, again, rare weekend off. So yeah, no, it was different. Like I said, I'm miss podcasting when I'm not doing it. Obviously you realize how much time we are in the seat in front of the cameras when you do have a weekend off, because it's like, Jesus, man, what am I going to do? I got like a lot of stuff I can get done. I got a lot of gaming I could do too. Let's do this. I'll give you guys a little hint. So we'll start up the show tonight. Got a little package today, folks. Got a little package today when I got home. Now I haven't unwrapped it. I did open it up, but I did not unwrap it. But this will give you a hint as to what I've been doing this week. And I'm going to try to get it. Mav, tell me if you can see it on camera. So
yes.
I think you can all see that logo there. See that logo right there?
Yeah.
All right. Here's the back. Oh, yeah.
Man, that is vibrant. Oh. It pops, dude.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It definitely pops. And I hadn't seen this design up front yet, but yeah. Got my Gears of War E-Day shirt. So I have, after that, I mean, I got so many games.
Yeah.
I have been playing Diablo 2. I'm level 99. Almost to 100. Thinking about rechanging my whole build though, because now that I'm up that level to start running pit and stuff like that, I'm going to have to go towards a meta, which is kind of frustrating. Yet again, I hate metas and I hate having to do that. I had a good, easy run like you, Mav, with my Blight build on my Necro up until probably mid 90, right around 95 or so. It started getting where I was getting one-shotted by things again, just because no matter what I have my armor at, I'm over 10,000 armor. I'm like 12,000 armor. Basically all my stuff is over 10,000. And I'm still getting one-shotted. And that is a problem with the Necro, no matter what you do. So I started looking at meta builds. It's a full, complete rebuild, and I don't have a whole lot of the stuff to do it with as far as equipment goes. but I might wind up doing it. So I have been playing some Diablo. So trying to get to that 100 again. That'll be my second character at 100. So I'm trying to, or over all the seasons, not this season, but it'll be my second character to 100. So I'm trying to do that. But I got back into Gears after seeing the showcase and Gears, and you guys heard me talk about what E-Day meant to me, and just them going back, doing a prequel with my dude bros again. Marcus and Dom for sure, and I'm sure some of the other ones may show up eventually as well. Really got me back in the mood again. Now, that's been going around the community. So I think somebody put out a stat today, according to like a sample size of like 2 million Xbox accounts. Gears of War 1 is up 323% or something like that being played right now, which makes total sense. Everybody is in a Gears mood. That's what a Gears, bringing it back to its roots, could do. This is the stuff that we talked about for years, and why I said get rid of the whiny ass kids is because this is what Gears really means to people, but for me especially. So I got this t-shirt, and then I went back, but unlike everybody else, am I playing 1, 2, or 3? No. I said, you know what? I got unfinished business with Judgment. I never finished Judgment. And I actually liked the campaign, but I just never finished it. Because the multiplayer didn't stick. Like I played more multiplayer than I ever did, obviously the single player. But I had to pop back into Judgment and finish that. And so I restarted over again, and I've been rocking through Judgment. I think I'm down to the last 2 levels, I want to say, or something like that now on Judgment.
Nice.
Having a freaking blast. Of course, I'm doing all the declassifieds along the way. If you guys remember the declassifieds, it just makes each level a little bit harder. You got to do certain things, or you can only use certain weapons. Got time limits, stuff like that. Shout out to Steel Rain, by the way, too. I don't know if he's in here lurking yet or not, but shout out to Steel. I happen to go into the rankings. That man on Judgment is still top 1,500 to this day. Overall in Team Deathmatch. He is top 1,500 in the world in Team Deathmatch. I had to take a screenshot and send it to him. I'm like, dude, you're still top 1,500. He's like 1,400 and something.
Right.
In the world, in Team Deathmatch on Judgment. He goes, still? He goes, I have not played that in so many years. And I go, yep, you're still ranked top 1,500. So shout out to Steel. But it was cool going back because I got to see all your stuff too, Mav. Obviously for the campaign, I got to see all your levels because they've got rankings for each of the campaign levels as well.
Oh, really?
So that's pretty dope. Yeah. So you're in there too because you and I, we friended each other on 360 for some game. And I don't remember. It was probably Midnight Club.
Oh yeah.
I think
we played Midnight Club Los Angeles together. Yeah.
So we friended each other, and Steel and I friended each other too to play something too as well. So that's why you two are on my ranking. So it's kind of funny just seeing that stuff. Yeah, I'm almost done with Judgment. Having a great time with it. Again, I like the campaign in Judgment. I know some people didn't, but I love the writing in that, and I like the story around it. And I love how they kind of have Marcus in an offshoot way in it, like the original crew's in it. You hear him over the radio all the time, and you're doing side missions that are kind of in line with what he's doing, parallel to what they were doing when we first met them in Gears of War 1. So that was pretty dope. So I'm having fun with Judgment, and then I also started up Gears Tactics again as well. So I've been rocking through Gears Tactics. Nice. Yeah, that is such a great tactics game. Again, I played a bunch of it. Just again, as the grazer, I just moved on to other stuff because other stuff was coming out. But what a freaking fantastic tactics game, and challenging as fuck too. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm at the Brumac, and my God, man, that thing, even for me, I've played a lot of tactics games in my life. Now I never play them at the hardcore level, but I played enough tactics. Like I have a very firm grasp on how to handle different situations in tactics games. This Brumac is just freaking crushing me, bro. But I'm having a good time. So love Gears Tactics. The customization in that game too blows me away every time I play it.
Gears, it is not an easy game for a tactics game. No, it is pretty difficult.
It is. Some parts are really, and it's very satisfying because it's not to the point of frustration. Right, it's not. Again, tactics games can be very Souls-like in that way. If you get into a very very hard tactics game, it can be like pounding your head against a brick wall sometimes. Even if you're playing the same levels, trying to figure out what the best strategy is, that's a part of tactics games. But it's not like that to that degree for me. But there's been a lot of levels up to the Brumac where I actually was like, ooh, we are in trouble. But using what I know, just getting the right position and having the dice roll the right way on some of those shots, like, has worked out beautifully. And it's just such a satisfying experience when all that works. So having fun with Gears Tactics as well. So it was a Gears weekend for me, because I started up on Sunday. I started up Judgment. I had played some more Ghost of Tsushima as well, still rocking through Ghost of Tsushima, still doing that. Don't necessarily love Jin, but I like Jin, but I like the combat and I like everything about that open world. So I'm still doing that. But then Sunday is when it really kicked in for me. I was like, man, I just really want to play some Gears. And I went to the library and I was like, all right, which one am I going to do? Should I go back to the originals? And there was Judgment just sitting, look at me. And I'm like, it's so random and so weird, but I really want to play. I really want to finish Judgment. Let's just do Judgment. So I just downloaded it, 7 gigs, took 2 seconds and fired it up, and been having a fun time ever since then. So that's what I've been doing, Mav. That's what I've been doing for sure. God, I'm so excited. I got this t-shirt though, man.
Yeah.
I don't buy collector's items anymore. I don't do that. Again, I'm getting to the point where I want to get rid of all my shit. So I just don't do it anymore. But Gears, man, that announcement, I had to get this E-Day shirt. I had to have one of these. So,
it's a badass shirt. It is. I'm a little jelly. A little bit.
It's a limited edition too.
I know.
It's freaking crazy, man. So that's all I've been doing, Mav. I got tons more stuff that I'm going to be getting into here. There's so many games coming out, but again, Steam PC Now world has just opened things up. I tried out. I will tell you this, Mav. Slow-mo backslap. Beginning of the year, I want to say, was on the Shop podcast with us.
Yeah,
and he knows I like tactics games, right? And he had just played this game called Showstoppers on Steam, and he told me to play it. It was one of his favorite games. It was either the beginning of this year or the end of last year, but he said it was a game of the year candidate for, like, out of his favorite games that he's played. And I finally had picked it up, right? I played for about an hour and a half of that. It's set up, Mav. Okay, so it is the premise is a lot like The Running Man. So you're a part of a game show, and you're going up against like criminals, right? Like you are there I think you're there as punishment, right? But you're a lighter sentence. But you have to go up against the hardcore prisoners who have one shot. If they can win the showstopper, then they can get out, right? They can get out from their prison sentence or their death sentence. So you're going to go up with these criminal like gangs, but it's set up that way. So they have an announcer through the entire thing, Mav, that talks about what's going on. And he's like, oh, looks like we have some extra brutes showing up, everybody. This is about to get interesting. Let's see how our contestants handle this. And it's throughout while you're playing. It's freaking dope, man. It's freaking awesome. I played like an hour and a half, something like that, as Showstoppers. So shout out to Slow-Mo. I know he lurks sometime too. I'm loving it. So I just want to throw that out there because it is a cool oddball one that not everybody has heard of. But yeah, definitely that. And you guys probably hear me talk about
a shooter or like
it's a tactics. It's straight up tactics with
tactics. Okay.
Yeah, it's tactics. It's straight up tactics, man.
Okay.
So you get the free roam in certain areas, like in your base and that kind of stuff. You get the free roam, but then when you're in the battlefield, it goes to grid system, right? And you got cover. You got all your normal. You got all these different weapons. You can upgrade your weapons. You get loot. You also get money, so you can buy different weapons. You can upgrade. It is fun as fuck, man, and it's really good tactics too. Like the way they got the map set up, the first couple levels that I played through really set up nicely, so you can play different styles if you want to, and it works really well. So Showstoppers is definitely one. If you've got PC, Showgunners. I keep saying Showstoppers. Showgunners.
Okay.
Showgunners. Excuse me, everybody. Showgunners, please. If you do have it, you like tactics, go check out Showgunners for sure. It's on sale all the time too. Now I think it came out last year. So, but
okay.
Yeah, go check it out, man.
I've never heard of it, but yeah, I'll check it out, dude. I love tactics games.
It's dope. It's set up like in a cyberpunk area too, right? It's a cyberpunk city. It's futuristic, so it's got the neon, it's got the dark colors, it's got all that shit. It's really cool. Like when you're walking between levels, Mav, like if you're in between levels, but you're still in the show and you're just going on to the next spot. Like you can meet people, like you meet fans, and you can decide whether or not to sign an autograph, and it affects your fan base. You got a fan base that actually helps you out. So the more fans you accrue, right, the better the gear, better the money you get, all the bonuses, right?
Yeah.
So like, that's pretty cool.
Hunger Games, right? Like
like Hunger Games or like Running Man or whatever. Yeah. It's totally
cool.
It's sweet, bro. It's sweet, bro. Yeah. So Showgunners, everybody. Yeah, I just picked up Republic of the Pirates just came out. I have not played it yet, but this is going to be what do I want to say? This is going to be your city builder, your sim. But it's another pirate one. You can set up trade routes. You get to control your pirate fleet live and stuff. Republic of the Pirates is from a small indie developer that just dropped, and I just wound up finding it on GG Deals for $10 today. So it just dropped, and so I'm going to be playing that and letting you guys know how I feel about that too, because I love pirate games. And that's one of the games I want to talk about when we get into it, Mav, because there was a surprise reveal this week that nobody knew of. Nobody's heard of, and yet it looks dope as hell. So we're going to talk about that too as well, because it's a pirate game. So yeah, that's all I've been up to, Mav.
Pirate games, my favorite.
I should.
Yeah, that'll be a conversation a little bit too, maybe later.
Maybe later, because it's gonna be part of the booty interview. That's for sure.
Exactly.
Forgot to wish everybody happy Shadow of the Erdtree Day, by the way, too. For everybody who's gonna be rocking out Shadow of the Erdtree. And there's going to be a lot of you. I'll be watching from the sidelines. Again, happy for all of you. Already seen so many reactions from people playing it. Already heard the previews and reviews from some of the people that got it early, who are saying how hard it is. Hats off.
No wonder one reviewer gave it a low score because they said it was too hard. But
too hard. Yes. Too hard.
Like, that's obviously the kind of game it is, so I don't understand.
That's the whole game, right? But again, I'll be watching from the sidelines. Again, loved my whatever it was 60 80 hours that I had in Elden Ring. Loved it, thought it was really great, right? But I'm not doing this. I have zero interest in any of it. And hats off to From Software to just basically giving everybody the middle finger and saying, yeah, you got to go complete a couple bosses that you might have missed through your playthrough in order to get into the DLC. We're locking the DLC behind bosses. Classic From Software, bro. It's freaking amazing. I loved how people were in uproar over that. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. If you like these types of games, you should be applauding From Software for doing this. Okay. This is like classic. What a way to make you earn your way into paid DLC. Like, that's From Software. That's their whole mission. So love to see it. But yeah, happy Shadow of the Erdtree launch day today, everybody. It's a big launch. People are already talking, oh, we need to consider this for Game of the Year. Don't you fucking dare, Keely. We're not doing this. This is DLC. I don't care how big it is. This is DLC.
Ongoing game.
We're not, that's fine. If they want to put, now that he's opened up that category, that's fine.
Cyberpunk won that, didn't it?
Correct. Yes. Right. Exactly. And Starfield should be in there this year. And if you want to throw this in there as an ongoing game because it has this big DLC, that's fine with me. Go ahead. You opened up that. But do not change the rules for Game of the Year. A paid DLC does not get to be considered for Game of the Year. Okay, we're not doing this. I don't even care. I don't care. It's one of your favorites From Software. I don't care how many people love it. I don't care about any of that shit. It does not get up for Game of the Year.
He'll justify it in his mind because it's
Elden Ring was already up for Game of the Year. It does not get to come back for DLC.
But this is Elden Ring Erdtree thing.
Yes, Shadow of the Erdtree.
Shadow of the Erdtree.
It's DLC, not a whole game.
It's a different thing entirely, right? Mm-hmm. He'll justify it. There'll be some justification.
I'm not playing this fucking shit with him, man. I'm gonna be so pissed if he does it.
I ain't playing with him.
I play with you, Jeff.
fucking
You
with your
don't know who the
categories,
fuck
Jeff.
I am. You don't care about big people bigger than me. So whatever. But man, I will be so pissed if you put this up for Game of the freaking Year, man. But anyways, I hope everybody loves the hell out of it because everybody's saying that it's freaking fantastic. If you again, love to see the quality. You guys know that we'll celebrate that every freaking time, man. When a company does it right and From Software does it right. So, let's get to the chat here, Mav, and then we'll get into some topics. I feel a little rusty. It's been so damn long since I have spoken, man. Jeez. We got the one and only Poison Maniac in the house. What's up, Poison? We got the Decado in the house. What's up, Decado? We got the Sly Crow in here. What's up, Sly Crow? We got the Masshole 1977. Looking for that Mav rant early. Let's go. I'm sure you're going to get one or two tonight. Don't you fret. We got the Bold Alpha Wolfpack in here, of course. We got the Sin. What's going on, Sin? We got Oats in the house. Oats, always good to see you. Thank you for being a part of the show. We got the Herd Theorem. That's right, Herd. Great to see you. We got the Talos Ray in here. What's up, Talos Ray? We got the HNS 1998. What is going on? Great to have you a part of our show. We got the Coach Hooded Canuck in here. What's up, Coach? Put me in, Coach. Let's see. We got the Void Rat in the house. What's up, Void Rat? We got the gentleman who hates pancakes for some reason, but that's okay. I still like him. He's Mr. Waffles is in the house. What's up, Mr. Waffles? Great to see you, sir. Who else is in here? We got Nam Omar dropping on by, of course. Nam, always great to see you, brother. Thank you. We got the James Thomas in here. What's up, James Thomas? Great to see you, sir. We got the Big Lou Ravens in the house. What's going on, Big Lou? Always good to see you as well. We got the Galveston in here. What's up, Galveston? What's going on? Diablo is great. Have 3 100s and working on a 4th at the moment. Congratulations. That's some dedication right there. That's good work. Who else we got in here? Going up. We got the brother from another Psychonauts is in the house. He was bragging about his level 56 Pyro Sorcerer Sork in the house. Tried to get you to play yesterday, bro. When did you try? Are you saying that to me or Mav? You must have been saying it to Mav because I wasn't playing Diablo yesterday. I did not pop on Diablo yesterday. No, I did not. Who else is in here? I think that's as far back as I can actually go. My chat got blocked. You guys have been talking a lot. Anybody on the bottom that I missed out? We got Monster 530 in here. What's up, Monster? We got the BT Maverick 707. Do you have time to talk about our Lord and Savior Nintendo? Yes, we do, BT Maverick. We are going to entertain everybody with some Nintendo talk. That's for damn sure. I think that's everybody I can see in here. If you guys are lurking, again, if we don't get to you because you're just not showing up in our chat, again, same love and respect to all of you that are joining us, whether you're lurking, whether you're here live, whether you're here from the future. It does not matter. We love you all the same, and thank you for giving us your time. There. Speaking of the future, all of a sudden, the actually one, Lore Master Jasper from the future jumps in here. That's right. Traveling the cosmos right now, and he's still got time to jump in our chat. Thank you, Lore Master. What's going on, brother? All right, Mav. Well, you just want to dive in? You want you just want to get warmed up, Mav, right in the Nintendo? You just want to do it? Mav, are you with me or are you dead? Mav's off camera. He must have thought I was going to have more people to talk to. So Mav's off camera. So I will introduce the topic, but I think Mav will appreciate this because he went, oh, wait, we got the Decado with the $5 super chat. That's right, Decado. Thank you, choo-choo, motherfucker. He comes in here and says, Pong Soul, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Love it. I am going to have my Atlas run at some point, Decado. Again, I played a lot of Atlas in my lifetime, but I have this whole now back catalog on Xbox that I'm going to have to get to. So I am definitely going to be getting to Shin Megami Tensei 5 at some point because I've been calling. That was one of the franchises I wanted Atlas to bring over. So it looks fantastic. I have seen people screenshot and some video clips from it, and it looks so damn good, and people are really praising the hell out of it. So I can't wait to play it. Mav, you're back?
Yes. Sorry about that.
I didn't know you were gone. No, that's right. Bledsoe 45 SBC. I see you in here. I was asking you, Mav, do you just want to get warmed up by starting off with Nintendo? Just want to get warmed up? You just want to get right into it, brother?
Let's go.
Want to get fired up?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's
All
do
right.
this.
All right, let's do this, brother. So, I guess what we'll do here, Mav, is since neither one of us really got to talk about it a whole lot. When did it well, yeah, it happened this week. So we haven't had a chance to even really talk about it. So I want to get your initial thoughts on the showcase, right? A couple highlights, kind of like how we did last week. We'll do a couple highlights from Nintendo Showcase. We don't have to run through the whole damn thing. They had over 30 games, which was damn impressive in a 40-minute time span. But I want to get some highlights, some things that really stood out to you, and then we will get into our savior, Nintendo, and how they are saving the game industry single-handedly right now.
Yeah.
We will get into that after the fact, but we'll get the good stuff out of the way. Let me get a good article. Here we go. Let's just do this one here.
Yeah, one of those everything at the
Yeah,
Nintendo
yeah, I got it.
Directs.
Yeah, I got it here.
Refresh my memory.
I'll send it over to you because I do have to refresh my memory too. I got pretty much the main ones, but I'm just using stupid games radar one because it popped up right away. But
it's all the same company now anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter.
Yep, it's everything. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So yes, so Mav, Nintendo Direct, brother. So for anybody who doesn't know, Nintendo had their big Direct, no Switch 2 news, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knew that. Everybody, they've already forewarned everybody. There's not going to be any Switch 2 news this year at all. And we had talked about previously, Mav, the incredible job Nintendo did even last year, right? Having cleared what we thought clearing the decks, right, on their way. Because, I had predicted that they were going to announce Switch 2 this year, right?
Yeah.
I think you were on board with it coming out sometime this year, or at least announcing sometime this year. And so when they weren't going to do that, I started thinking, I said, well, what do they got left? And that's what people were kind of curious about coming into this Direct. Like, what does Nintendo have? They've dropped so many freaking first-party titles. Like, what do they have left to give us or to give Nintendo fans for the rest of 2024 into 2025 as, we ramp up towards Switch 2? Well, they answered that, Mav. And the answer is quite a bit. Like, they're no joke. Again, they're making games that are nowheres near the technical level of current gen PlayStation and Xbox games. Their games don't take, well, outside of obviously one of them, Metroid Prime 4, their games generally don't take 5 years to make. A lot of times Nintendo has their games done, completed, polished, and ready to go, and they just hold them. They just hold them in a vault until they need to bring them out. And it seems like their vault was not empty, man, because this Direct was considered by some better than the Xbox Showcase. Listen, this was a good Direct. I enjoyed the hell out of this Direct. I gave it an easy 7.58. If I was a Nintendo fan, I would have thought this Direct was great. But to say it was better than the Xbox Showcase, oh boy, we're going to get into that after this. But overall, it was a good show. It was a good show. It was fun to watch. There was a lot of cool stuff in there. And so we're going to talk about it. So Mav, looking at the list there of the games that were kind of announced, a lot of it was, of course, multi-platform. There was plenty of multi-platform here that go in different places. We could talk about that because there's one glaring that popped up this week. I guess we'll fire that up when we get to it. That'll kind of start off that whole second half of this conversation here. But out of this list for Nintendo Direct this week, what got you excited? What got you kind of pumped a little bit, and what got you going, hey, Nintendo, all right, let's go? Obviously, both you and I are probably gonna say Metroid Prime 4, but just give it to me. What do you got?
Oh God, I'm gonna feel like such a troll almost. Oh, hold on, my computer's acting wonky.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel like a troll almost, bro. Like nothing, really.
Nothing at all.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. I was not expecting this, so go right ahead.
Like, here's the thing: there's games in there that I like, but nothing got me excited about Nintendo. So that it's, I guess you could say, like, what's the question?
Okay, what games did you like out of this one? Let's do that.
Okay, what games did I like?
Yes.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Shut the fuck up.
I mean, it's like Animal Crossing, right?
Stop. Oh my God.
No, I Looney Tunes, the Looney Tunes sports game, really did it for me. I think really that one set a new bar and a new standard for what we expect when it comes to games at these showcases, right? The Looney Tunes.
I tried to start positive here, chat. You see how I tried to start positive, but Mav really wants to rant about this. He's having a hard time even just naming a couple games that he thought looked cool.
No, okay, I'll be for real. Darkest Dungeon 2 looked pretty cool.
We've seen that one already a million times. It's out elsewhere. I hate you. Yes. What else?
The Metal Slug game looked pretty cool.
Oh, the Tower Defense.
Yeah,
$10.
Tower Defense
it's
one.
only $10 everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Shadow
one. I was thinking about already picking that one up. Oh geez, what else was there? I'm trying to go back into my memory here, looking at this list. Stray. No, I've already played that. Geez, man. Like
I was not expecting
Marvel vs. Capcom, like the collection. Cool.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, are you gonna play that on Xbox?
No. And honestly, it's not the Marvel vs. Capcom announcement that I want personally.
No,
a fighting collection of old games that aren't really done anything to.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, we've got how many of these do we have? Like all the Street Fighter collections, all these other collections, where I want new ones.
Punisher. I've never played the Punisher beat 'em up.
I mean, it's cool, right? I appreciate them keeping it alive with game preservation and stuff, you know? So that's what I will look at this as. I'll probably get this on Steam at some point and play it. But it's not the Marvel vs. Capcom announcement that I want, right? Like if they had like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 remake, right? And it had like online play and all that shit, and it was like everywhere, that I would be all fucking into that. You know? I'd be super into that. This is cool. This isn't that Marvel vs. Capcom announcement for me, you know, or in general. Oh man, dude. I'm trying to be positive here, man. I really am. We got like 3 more Mario things here, right? Mario and Luigi Brothership looks interesting.
Okay. What about any of the JRPGs?
The Zelda, yeah, the JRPGs look cool, but I'm probably never gonna play them.
You're not even gonna play Fantasian.
I was thinking about it.
From Sakaguchi, which could be his final game before he retires. He put out notice, and he's working with Square to bring this. This has been on mobile stores only. Him and Mistwalker made this game. This is a classic JRPG from Sakaguchi.
Maybe.
Okay. All right.
Where is this everywhere, or is it only on Switch?
No, it's coming to Switch. It's coming to PC and PlayStation. And was this one coming up?
If this is on Xbox or in PC, I'll play it.
Yeah.
But I don't want to play a game like that on the Switch.
Yeah, it's coming to Xbox.
Okay. Yes. I'm fucking pumped for that one then.
Okay.
Here's the I have the same problem watching this show that I have with every other Nintendo Direct that I've had over this past generation.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get excited to play the games, the bigger games, right?
Okay.
Like that on a Switch.
Okay. No, I get that.
So for me, like the whole show is like, oh, that'd be cool, or whatever.
But they're going to be on Switch too.
Yes.
Okay.
We haven't got an announcement of that yet, so
right.
I will be excited when we actually have like actual information of the Switch 2 and when it's coming and what the games are going to be
vaporware?
Like. No, I don't think it's vaporware. I just don't know how much it is, when it's going to come out, and what games are going to be there, or if it's even going to be backwards compatible.
It's true.
So until they actually tell me that, it's hard for me to get super excited. Now, as a game showcase, just judging it for the games, like I would look at it and be like, oh yeah, there's some really good stuff in there that looks like cool games. I would say that I am interested in playing some of them. Probably none of them on the Switch, except for maybe Metal Slug. That looks like a Switch game for me. So,
okay,
that's it.
fair.
I mean, that's just
that's
like,
fair. I mean, that's fine.
Fantasia looked great. Out of all of them, for the JRPG, because there was another one they had, like Fairy Tales 2 was there
Fairy Tail
also. Fairy Tale 2, they had that.
Yep.
But yeah, Fantasia looked pretty good. So,
Yep.
But I ain't playing it on a Switch. That ruined the other JRPGs I was excited to play on the Switch before. Like, it ruined them for me before. Okay. So I don't want to play this on the Switch.
I'm
happy I didn't know it was coming to Xbox.
That's fine. Yes, it's coming to Xbox. Like I said, there was a lot of multi-plat games here, so a lot of it is coming elsewhere. For me, it's a little bit different because, again, you guys know I watch these shows even if I'm not going to buy a Switch. I am interested in the Switch too, like Mav, but I'm not going to buy a Switch for any of these games. No interest. Switch 2 is the first time Nintendo's had my ears perked at all for the past couple decades. So we'll wait and see what the Switch 2 looks like, but I still watch their directs because a lot of their games do go elsewhere. Xbox, PC, PlayStation, etc. And most of the time, if it's on PlayStation but not on Xbox, it's on PC. And now that I have a gaming rig, that's different. It's different for me. So now it gives me even a little bit more excited. So I looked at this showcase and I thought this was a great showcase. It was well paced. I thought the games all showed very well. I don't look at it from a Mav standpoint that I have to play it on a Switch. I have zero interest in Mario or Zelda, so neither one of those do anything for me whatsoever. So Mario and Luigi and The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom don't do shit for me. Dragon Quest 3 HD remake, and then also finding out that 1 and 2 also are being remade and will be coming next year. That's huge for me. I played the hell out of the original Dragon Quest. The fact that they are getting these remakes are a big deal to me. So don't care it showed up on the Nintendo side of things. That's fine. It's going everywhere. And I can't be more excited because Square is bringing those to Xbox. So for me, that was a winner right there. I was super happy about that. Obviously, like I already mentioned to Mav, Fantasian is a game. Again, I love Miss Walker. I love Sakaguchi. I love what he does. Again, the godfather of Final Fantasy. And he may be retiring soon. I've talked about this on previous shows. Funny enough, when we were talking about Sakaguchi, if Xbox potentially got him to make another Lost Odyssey, that he was getting up there. He's in his he's like 63 or something like that. Whatever I said, 63, 64. But he did mention, he put out a notice that he was happy to be working with Square again. Kind of bittersweet that he is back with Square to bring Fantasian off of the mobile market into consoles and PC, and that it might be his last game before he retires. So we'll see. Maybe getting underneath Square Enix again, back with some of the boys again, will get him kind of pumped, and maybe he will be back for longer. But I can't wait to play Fantasian. Again, I think I love what he does, and it looked really cool as a classic JRPG.
That was a mobile excited game. What, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I said. It was stuck on mobile stores. Yeah, it's been on iOS and Android for a while now. So, like a lot of Miss Walker games. But so yeah, I was excited for that as well. Again, Marvel versus Capcom, outside of the no Xbox thing, was cool as hell too. I don't mind old games. I will play old games. Would I love to see them make a new one? Absolutely freaking, of course. But if you're not going to, I want to see them brought forward. Steele's point is, well, you can emulate all this shit. Yeah, but I don't like emulators. Okay. I haven't hopped into that yet. Maybe someday I'll be big into emulators and I'll have a bunch on my PC. Right. Shout out to Legendary Yobi, got me that Retro S. I forgot to post those pictures, but I did play some Retro S this week too, Mav. I popped in over 8,000 old games, bro, going back, and oh my God, the lists are crazy in there. So I like old games. And when they bring games forward to allow people nowadays to play them in more places going forward, I think that's a good thing. So again, I'm not going to pull out the pitchforks on the no Xbox thing. I'm not going to claim this is doom and gloom. We don't know the true story. Jez said he believes that's Capcom's the MT framework that they made those games on. They don't have a pipeline to produce those games on Xbox. That's why Xbox is not getting it. That's why PlayStation 5 supposedly isn't getting it. It's weird it's on PlayStation 4, but not on Xbox One. But it is what it is. But I'm just happy it's coming. And like you said, Mav, it's going to be on PC. So I will probably pick it up on the PC eventually because I do think those guys, again, I'm not the biggest fighting fan, but I want to play the Punisher beat 'em up. I never even, I think I'd seen it before, but I never really knew they even had a Punisher beat 'em up. So I can't wait to go back and play those games. So I thought that was a cool announcement. And a lot of people have been waiting on that collection. And so it was just exciting because there's a lot of people in the community who are really excited about that. So it was good to see it there. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded. Yes. Tower defense game, $10. I almost pulled the trigger. I just got so much right now. I was like, do I pull the trigger now? It's only $10. It's not, it's always going to be $10. Like, do I want tower defense right now? Probably not. Nah, I won't do it, but it was cool to see. I was not expecting that. We just got the, announcement for Metal Slug Tactics, which the demo came out on Steam, which I thought was pretty decent. Actually, I only played it for a short bit, but it was cool. But then, so I thought it was just a surprise announcement. It was a shadow drop. It was dope. So I was like, okay, cool. The big one though that I've been waiting on, and it's the one of the Nintendo games, or one of the exclusive Nintendo games that I do care about, was Metroid Prime 4. I've played the Metroid Primes on some of my buddies' systems, etc. I personally, Metroid, the old school Metroids, I played the hell out of them back in the day. But you guys know I don't do platforming, and I don't do Metroidvanias. But you give me a first-person Metroid, and you throw in a little bit of that stuff in there, but it's set because it's so freaking sci-fi. It looks kind of like Halo. It actually looks a lot like Halo now. But I thought Metroid Prime was always freaking fantastic. I loved fooling around with Metroid Prime. So I've been excited to see Metroid Prime 4 after 7-8 years. It'll be officially 8 years next year when it launches. But I was excited to see this. The fact that they dropped that as the one last thing, just like Xbox dropped Gears of War E-Day as the one last thing, was pretty freaking dope. I ain't gonna lie. I got a little juice for it. I was like, yo, all right, Nintendo, finally, great. And we're gonna talk about that too. But I was just like, okay, cool. And it looked like Metroid Prime on Nintendo, both the good and the bad. Like, and again, there's some people pointing out that could have actually been switched to gameplay from how it looked. And I've gone back and watched it a few times. Gotta kind of agree, because if that's on the original Switch, if that's on the current day Switch, that thing's gonna be at like 15 frames, bro. It's not gonna run. Okay, that's got to be Switch 2 gameplay that they were showing, or at least up to that level somewhat. But I was excited for Metroid Prime 4. I thought it was great. It was called Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, I think it was. I was excited for that. So that was good to see. And so I just thought, like I said, had I been a Nintendo fan, right, I would have been super pumped. Had I been a Mario fan and a Zelda fan, I would have thought this was a great show. Easily, again, because I don't compare it to other things. When I grade a show, I don't compare it to anything else. I just take it in a black hole, in a vacuum, and I just look at it and what I liked from it. Easy 7.5 to an 8 for me. So I really enjoyed this show. That was some of what stood out to me. Obviously, I know what stood out to Nintendo fans. I watched some Nintendo fan reactions. I watched some Nintendo Drone, which is the toxic side of Nintendo's reactions. And there are Nintendo drones out there, believe it or not. There was a couple videos going around this week of actual Nintendo drones, which is wild because you usually don't think of them that way. But there was legit videos of Nintendo drones talking about how shit the Xbox showcase was. It's unbelievable, man. There's fanboys and fangirls everywhere. I just thought overall good. All right, Matt. I know you're sitting here quietly impatiently waiting for me to get done because you want to get into the dirty dirt. The thumbnail of this show was thank God for Nintendo, because we did have Nintendo fans. We had journalists. Don't usually name them, but I'll name them here because they're not shy about what they say. So Mr. Dring, Mr. Schreier, Two of the main ones, obviously the normal Nintendo fanboys who are also journalists were out here in force, which was great. Some of them are just true fans, like Grubb and those guys. They were all super excited. I didn't expect anything less than from them. But Dring, of course, he played it off that he was joking. But again, there's a pattern, there's a history. When they tell you who they are, believe them. He put out a tweet that said the awkward moment when they have to take back the not E3 winner trophy from Xbox. And of course, he posted that right after Nintendo Showcase. And then he played it off when people started calling him out and said it was just a joke. I was just having fun. I was just having some fun. Okay. All right, Dring. Okay. And then we had Jason Schreier, who put out a tweet praising, said, might have taken a week later, but Nintendo showed up and, crushed the E3. I'm paraphrasing. Somebody came into his comments and said, yeah, but Xbox Showcase was freaking fantastic. It was great. And Schreier replied back, quote, one other nice thing about the Nintendo Direct is that you don't have to wonder which studios they'll shut down a year later. End quote. So math. Nintendo saved E3, not E3. Nintendo is the savior of gaming because obviously, even though you and I liked some of the games in there, right? We didn't talk about the fact about how they're pushing the games industry forward, right? How they are pushing boundaries, how they are changing, how games are made and how mechanically they're advanced from everybody else. Because obviously that had to be a part of their show, right, Mav? That's again, that's got to be a major part of what's included when people say Nintendo saved the E3, not E3, and they're saving gaming out here, Mav. Right?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's clearly everything we saw was so innovative. So like amazing to be able to see the pushing everything forward in the industry, like you said, and like first off, let me say this. I gotta start somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
I have to pick a place to begin with this whole thing. All right. So after the Nintendo Showcase, the Nintendo Direct, which was overall, I'll say it was good. I good showcase. Didn't get my blood pumping, right? Because there's nothing like wow. It was just kind of cool. These are a bunch of Nintendo games that are on the Nintendo thing. And that's what it was. That's cool, right? Fine.
We've never played as Princess Zelda, Mav. Groundbreaking.
Dude, I tell you, like, I never thought it was possible. I never thought we would see the day.
I'm not making up this shit. So I listen again. I watched some reactions. Somebody did say that was groundbreaking, that you got to finally play as Zelda.
Breaking new ground. So finally, like, this is what was sticking into my back of my brain. After this, the Marvel vs. Capcom thing, cool announcements. One of the cooler announcements at the show, right? It's still not the announcement that I want. Okay. But the amount of people that have just accepted what Nintendo is what bothers me, right? And why these things kind of like always stick in my craw a little bit, right? Nintendo didn't always used to be this. They didn't always used to be thought of, oh, it's okay that they don't have all these other things because it's incapable. Back in the day, we expected games to launch on Nintendo platforms. Back in the day, they had like the Super Nintendo, the 64, big third-party stuff was there. GameCube had Resident Evil 4. I mean, there was all of these things. There was expectations that, hey, these Nintendo devices and hardware are going to be able to play the biggest games, right? And there was competition for that. The Wii, they took a step back with that. They decided to do something different, right? But then the Wii U, they were like, oh, let's get back into this a little bit. Like, this is going to be capable of doing, these kind of games again and stuff. But then they were like, hey, we give up. Okay? Like, we give up on this. We are a handheld company now that we will make that our primary platform and be able to make this as also usable as a console. And people have accepted that this is the way Nintendo always was, and it's not the case. They always had a handheld. But they were never before in the past just like, hey, we don't care about all these other games or all these other things. But it's been accepted so much by everybody to the point to where people freak out more that a retro games collection does not show up on Xbox. Instead of the possibility that the latest, biggest actual Capcom fighting game, Street Fighter 6, is incapable of even running on a fucking Switch. The actual game, the big fighting game that they released just last year to praise all around the world, saying this is like a 9-point-something game. Capcom's latest big fighting game, which we should all be hoping for and asking for, can't run on the fucking Switch. They just announced Monster Hunter, the new Monster Hunter Wilds. Guess what? There's no fucking Switch. Maybe it'll be Switch 2, but there's no Switch. This device sucks ass as far as playing big games because it's outdated, it's old, it always was with the technology, and nobody cares that that's the only Nintendo platform available to them. Instead, they care more that a retro old games collection isn't on Xbox. What have we accepted Nintendo as? We have just completely said we accept them as this is what Nintendo always was, and this is what Nintendo is now, and is always going to be. I have not accepted this ever since the Switch came out. I tried to get into it. I tried to like make myself a handheld gamer. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna embrace this, right? But to see everybody freak out over a retro games collection not coming to Xbox, and every other big actual fucking game release can't even release on the Switch? Why? Because it's incapable of doing so. And that's everybody what they say. Like, well, yeah, it would burn up. Yeah, it's impossible to put that on the Switch. So your argument is that the device sucks ass, that it can't run the games, right? Are we saying that's cool? That's okay? That Nintendo doesn't have another option? And then we look at, who's holding gaming back? Who's doing this? Do you think if Nintendo's most popular platform and they had like 80 million actual Nintendo consoles that were capable of running actual big games, you think there might be a hypothetical chance that some of these companies actually put those games on Nintendo or even decide to make other games? Maybe there would actually be a new Marvel vs. Capcom if Nintendo wasn't fucking stuck in La La Land. Just think about that kind of stuff, right? Like, who's really holding back gaming? They're forcing the only thing that we have to be a fucking handheld that you can pass off on a fucking screen, right? Like, let's just be real here for a second and stop praising these old ass fucking nostalgia ass games all the time, like, and think they're groundbreaking and they're changing the world of gaming when we've been playing that shit for 25, 30 years. It's the same stuff. I'm not saying it's bad. It's good stuff. But it's not fucking crazy. It's not wow. There's nothing amazing about it. It's just fucking games. It's old school games. That's what Nintendo does now. Metroid Prime 4, I used to be excited for it. But not when it's coming out on the fucking Switch. That shit looks like Halo 4, dude. I played that on the 360. I saw that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, wait, if you're gonna release something that looks like this shit now, at least fucking wait till you have a device capable of making it like decent. I fucking want to be excited for this stuff, dude. I love Nintendo. But oh my god, bro, like, could you imagine like Metroid Prime 4 releasing an actual good piece of hardware where they could actually put more into it? Did you see the movement and mechanics on the shooting there? This looks like fucking dog shit, man.
What do you mean?
It's like
It looked fantastic, bro.
Boom!
Bro, it looked like Switch 2.
Boom! Yeah, it's fucking great. Yeah, I don't want to play that shit. Put it on something good. Like, I'm just sorry. Like, I watch these shows and it's like, cool, yeah, this is great. Yeah, I can play this old looking nostalgia retro cartoony looking game on this handheld device. That's great for handheld gamers, bro. But Nintendo, you forgot about me. You forgot about the console gamers. You forgot about the hardcore enthusiasts that actually like want big, new, innovative, like groundbreaking, cool shit. Like it. And when everybody's freaking out about the Marvel vs. Capcom thing, I'm like, they just like Street Fighter 6 can't even run on that shit. And that's what would people care more about if Street Fighter 6 doesn't? What is Street Fighter 6 that skipped Xbox? Think about that for a second, right? Like that was Capcom's last big fighting game. What if that game had skipped Xbox or PlayStation? That would be a million times bigger than this retro games collection of Marvel vs. Capcom games, which I'm a huge fucking Marvel vs. Capcom fan. That'd be way bigger than that collection skipping Xbox, right? And it's just accepted it's just the reality. Our device sucks so much that we can't even think about the possibility of having those kind of games on the Switch. I think that's a bigger deal than the MT framework thing that's causing this one thing not to be able to happen, because Nintendo is selling a fucking piece of shit handheld for $300 and has been ever since it launched. Never did a price drop on it. You know how much profit they're making off of this stupid thing, and everybody's just gobbling it up all the fucking time, and all these like old ass nostalgia games, and like, oh, here's another Mario, here's another Zelda, here's another this. Eat it up, bitches. Yeah, let's take your money, and we don't have to innovate. We don't have to push things forward. We don't have to compete with Xbox. We don't have to compete with PlayStation. We're just living in our own lane here, man. Everything's calm. Everything's cool. We'll just keep making good quality games, good games. Nobody cares about how they look. Nobody cares about anything other than just Nintendo. It's what we like. Just keep being Nintendo. Fuck that. Okay, sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I thought you were going to keep going. No. I mean, I obviously agree with you because we've had this conversation so many times, Mav, in the past. We just had the whole situation with Starfield, in which it comes out in 2024. It is from a beloved developer, but now they're underneath Xbox. Now they're part of the Xbox family. And they go out and make some of the most generational games that we've ever seen that are still played decades later.
Ambitious is crazy. Dude.
Ambitious. And they don't just stand pat. They rework their entire engine to Creation Engine 2.0. They try brand new ideas, not brand new like ideas for, you know, the gaming world, but brand new ideas for Bethesda. Right? With doing ship combat, which they've never really done ever before. They take their gunplay to a next level. This huge, massive universe, whether you like it or not, it's still impressive. The scope behind what they're doing and the tech that they came up with to generate these planets, which is something they've never done before. They did all of this ambitious work with Starfield on a brand new IP. And it comes out in 2023, and all people could talk about is, how can you have loading screens in 2023? How can you have loading screens? Why can't I fly from space to the planet in seamless? Why does it have to be a cutscene? Why do the NPCs look like this? Like, that's all we heard about Bethesda. Maybe Bethesda's lost it. They just aren't keeping up with the times. And we've seen this before for other games as well. But Bethesda and Starfield are the most recent. And I said at the time, when all this was going on, we were having conversations about Starfield every week. Isn't it funny how Nintendo then has a direct and comes out with what was it, Mario Wonderland, Mav?
Yeah.
Mario Wonderland. The same fucking Mario we've been playing for fucking decades. And they show off Mario Wonderland. It's like, oh, wow. This is a fresh take on Mario. I've never seen anything like this. This is a fresh take. Wow. Still got that nostalgic feel that we love. But man, look at that. It looks great. It looks gorgeous. Oh my God, he could turn into an elephant. Holy shit. It's an elephant. It's a dope ass looking elephant, but it's an elephant. It is just different. And I've always said, again, you guys have heard me for 3+ years now say, I respect the hustle of Nintendo. They have cultivated a fan base and they have cultivated a mass media journalistic fever for their company like no other. PlayStation to some degree has this as well as being the cool kids in the club with Nintendo. But Nintendo is kind of, just because of their history, on another level. They are on that Apple level where people will defend them, their fans will defend them with their dying breath.
Because the games play good. They're fun.
Right. Why the Nintendo? Yeah, but even when games play like shit, they're still defended to hell.
Yeah, because then they blame the device.
Right. They blame it. Yeah. I mean, the devs are doing the best they can.
You know, what do you expect?
What do you expect? Not saying Nintendo should have updated their system long ago. No. That'd be crazy to ask Nintendo to maybe put out a better Switch. Oh God, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. People used to call me crazy for asking for that years ago. Like when we talked about this, they were like, when I was trying to explain, I'm not asking for them to completely change. I just want something where my eyes can read the fucking text on a 4K screen on an RPG. Like, it's not fucking like groundbreaking to think that that's impossible to make happen, right? Like, there's whoa, that's impossible. You want them to be Xbox and PlayStation all of a sudden? No, I just don't want the games to look blurry, and I don't want the system on a big screen to move like a fucking snail's pace. Like they didn't even have fucking Ethernet connection till the OLED came out, bro.
Yep.
Like
I know.
Come on, like really? And I just don't understand.
We don't want that. We don't need that.
You know how many
Nintendo
features the Wii U had that the Switch doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
Like with the online capabilities and like the backwards compatibility and like the Nintendo eStore, like all of that stuff, right? It got thrown away for this new model, which is cool, which is great, but like hey, it's time to move to the next version of it, because this was like phase 1, of handheld being the primary platform. I'm ready for you to do phase 2 because it sucks ass as a console.
Yeah.
And it always has sucked ass as a console. It doesn't suck ass as a gaming device. It's a good handheld. It's a great handheld. Best handheld gaming device they've ever had. They've never, and their handheld gaming devices have always been praised. Always been loved, right?
Yeah. Right.
But console gamers, for me, like if you like playing a handheld, cool. Like, and some people don't mind playing these games like as a console, like on their TVs also. For me, it's always been a horrible experience as a console. Absolute dog shit experience. It's ruined the games. It's ruined the good games that people say, oh, it's okay, great games. It's ruined all these fucking games for me. This entire generation.
Right. It's a fair point. And again, I didn't buy one, have had no interest in one for a lot of those same reasons, right, Mav? Because again, I'm not going to play it in the handheld mode. Again, not every game has to be for me. Not every system has to be for me. You guys all know this shit. It's not what it's about. What we're talking about here, though, is that there is absolutely 1000% a defense force for Nintendo out here in the wild. And that is something that's why I respect their hustle. They have created this fan base that will eat up every single old game that comes out yet again from Nintendo that they can rebuy for the 4th, 5th, 6th, 8th time with zero problems, with zero questions. They're just excited to have it.
Yeah.
And that's great for Nintendo. Nintendo's printing money, everything. They make money off of everything. That's their business plan. That's why I, again, respect that hustle. I do. But it does not change the fact that if any of these other companies, if Sony, if Xbox, if any of these other companies, and I even included PlayStation in this.
Could you imagine if Xbox or PlayStation's the only device couldn't run all the biggest games from third-party publishers?
No. And I will stand with Nintendo fans a little bit. People who buy Nintendo Switches aren't buying them for the third-party games.
Right.
They're not.
I get that.
It is so one-sided over at Nintendo about what games they do buy over there as far as first-party versus third-party. It's not even funny.
But I bet Street Fighter 6 would have sold pretty decent on that thing.
It probably would have sold. Yes, there'd be a core group, and you see third parties putting more games, trying to put more games on the Switch. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot more if the Switch 2 is close to the power that has been rumored. There's definitely going to be third parties that are definitely putting older games that we already have this generation, trying to port them over to that thing. They will try because, again, it's such a massive fan base over at Nintendo that it's worth it.
But that's what everybody's accepted because that's what they are now. They just accepted it. Like that's my thing is like it's just like, well, it's nobody expects it because it's not what they are anymore. And like I don't know. I wanted them to be more,
but they don't
like
have
they
to.
used to
and
be.
When they took themselves out, right? When they took themselves out of competing on the current gen type level tech, right? When they said, "Forget it, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to go with old tech. We're going to continue to make games the way we have. They're going to look a little bit better, a little bit prettier here and there, but the exact same games. Dev costs will be down, dev time will be down. Like, no, hey." Right? They created their own rules. They created their own pond that they swim in, and that is their right to do so. But the facts are, in that pond, any of these other companies legitimately after 8 years try to pull out a Metroid Prime 4 that doesn't look that much better than Metroid Prime 3. It does look better in some ways. There's some effects that I saw where, again, the people trying to claim that maybe that was the Switch 2. I could see it potentially being that. But outside 8 years of development, you announced this game 7 years ago. Next year will be 8. And you put your entire fan base on ice, right? There would be talk. There was talk when CDPR started delaying Cyberpunk over and over again, and that turned out to be a 7-year dev cycle for Cyberpunk. There was some of the fan base going, "Yo, come on, this is getting sick." Remember, we also got sick of the yellow letter signage that they put up, that letter that they always put up when they were going to delay it next. Nintendo just gets to go silent for 7-8 years with a game that is beloved, one of their big IPs, one of their big franchises, and just show up like whenever at the end of the Switch generation and show it off. And it's just like, oh my God, look,
thank you.
Look how it's playing. Oh my God, Nintendo, thank you. Oh my God, look how it's playing. Again, I understand the feeling like of finally getting that game and that it's overwhelming. Again, Gears of War E-Day, cool. I get that feeling. But my God, there would be articles being written through the years about what the hell is going on with Metroid Prime 4. Did we ever see an article, Mav, in after 4 years? Because again, we're talking about Nintendo dev cycle here. After 4 years, and there was no update to Metroid Prime, did we get any Metroid Prime 4 development in trouble?
No.
Possible mismanagement at Nintendo with Metroid Prime 4? Did we get any of that? No.
It's like Halo 4 looks better, bro.
Right.
It's not that it's not just that like that was a 360 game. I'm not saying it's not a pretty game. Like Halo 4 still looks great today, but like I want to say it looks fantastic. It's just like,
but again,
I don't know for 8 years.
8 years, bro. You know this thing's been done. They've been sitting on this. I said all along they were going to launch this with the Switch 2. Like this was going to come out with the Switch 2 day one. That this thing's been done. Okay. They are bullshitting when they say we're almost done. Just a little bit more patience. Bullshit. You're almost done with the Switch 2 version. That I believe, updating it. But I can guarantee you this version was done years ago on the original Switch, and they just threw it in the vault. And they said, you know what? This might be our Switch 2 launch title. Because Nintendo is that damn smart. And they want to have fresh launch titles for the Switch 2. They're one of the best companies in the world when it comes to launch lineups. So I would put money down. I don't know, but I would put money down that they had this game done. That this game was complete years ago. They had it in the vault. They started working on the Switch 2 version recently, and that's what they're getting ready for next year to launch alongside the Switch 2. But be that as it may, to have to have media members publicly come out and say the things that they say after this, to have Nintendrones and to have people out here honestly trying to argue that this was a better showcase than Xbox's showcase, which was just as full of nostalgic titles, except those nostalgic titles were massively different from the predecessors. They had been gone for a long time in the case of Fable and Perfect Dark, and they are being brought back with new visions in current day gaming. Like, to sit here and try to argue with me because you got a playable Princess Zelda in a Zelda game with a staff that duplicates tables and chairs, and Mav, you can duplicate monsters and have them fight for you, is somehow groundbreaking. And Mario and Luigi, a game that people, a separate franchise. Again, it's funny how many separate franchises there are with Mario, but Mario and Luigi being a separate franchise that people never thought was going to come back, showed back up again. And it looks a lot like the last one, but that's somehow mind blowing. Like, again, if you love Nintendo, if I love Nintendo that way, I would have thought this was a great showcase, right? I would have definitely thought this was a great showcase. But it's all subjective. It always will be subjective. But God damn it, man. Like, Nintendo is the only company that can get away with this shit, man. This is ass backwards to what people expect. As I said in our DMs, if this is anybody else's showcase, this is a good indie showcase, right? If this is on anybody else's stage, take out the Mario, take out the Zelda, just those types of games. This would be an id at Xbox show.
I'll go further. If it was the PlayStation or Xbox and Metroid Prime 4, that game, the same thing. You don't call it Metroid Prime 4. You call it something else.
Yeah,
right?
Generic first-person sci-fi shooter. Generic sci-fi.
You put that as the big game. Shown.
Review. Yes.
And you put the rest of the stuff shown. People would be calling it the worst fucking. They would be like, "What the fuck is this dog shit?"
Well, if you were saying this is their first party, well, of course, yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying. But that's like,
yes,
that's where we're at. But it doesn't matter because people know, hey, I'm gonna like this game. It's gonna be fun. You know, like they don't have the same kind of standards, right? They have an acceptance level now for what Nintendo decided to be.
Correct. Right? Absolutely. They cultivated.
Yeah, they're like, Nintendo decided this is going to be our path. Everybody accepted it, right? Yep. And which is fine because, like, handheld gamers, there's always a lot of them. Like I said, handheld always super highly loved from Nintendo, right? They can say, well, we're going to combine our two audiences, right? And we're going to have one primary device, you know, and we're going to milk this shit like no tomorrow because people are going to love it. And then they had a success with it, Nobody had any problems with it because they knew the limitations of the device, so their expectations of the games are less, right? When it comes to certain elements, they just expect fun Nintendo-y games that play fun and stuff like that, right? But the notion that's always what Nintendo was is completely false.
Right.
And that's like PlayStation saying they were always about these third-person action narrative story-based games. They weren't always about that shit either, right? The history of these companies used to innovate and push things forward in multiple areas, not just gameplay mechanics, right? In multiple areas. The first time we saw Super Mario 64, fucking minds were blown, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were innovating, pushing things forward for generations. generations they were doing this, trying to have the best, make the games look better, be better than the rest, right? Now we're just gonna make Nintendo-y games, right?
Mhm.
And that's cool. That's fine if that's what everybody wants, right? I miss the other Nintendo that was pushing things forward. I'm not saying they have to do Xbox or PlayStation, right? But there's a middle ground they could live in that's something else they get away with here too, Pong. For everybody that bought a Wii U, they completely just fucked over. They completely
Bought a Wii U.
Yeah, they bought a Wii U.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When the Wii U happened, yes.
They completely fucked over an entire generation of gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they abandoned it early on due to their own failures, right?
Yep.
And then moved on to this other vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
They abandoned console gaming, traditional console gaming. And ever since the Switch came out, it's a great device, right? For what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been accepting that I want Nintendo to always be this now. Right. And when we see these directs now, I'm looking at this and be like, yeah, that's cool. I still miss the old Nintendo. Right. And like the thing when I get clapped back for criticism or whatever, whenever I talk about this, people are like, Nintendo's always been like, Nintendo hasn't always been like this. Like, no. if you're older and you played all the generations of Nintendo before, I was a Nintendo head. I played Nintendo and Sega, right? There was competition there of being the best and trying to do things, right? Moving forward even against PlayStation, they were trying to compete with that. And then eventually, after the Wii U failed, right? They threw up their hands, gave up. This is what we're gonna do. The world accepted it because it's a handheld. If that was a console, and it was not also a handheld, and this was the games we're getting still, and this was the vision still, people would not be as accepting because they would be comparing to Xbox and to PlayStation. But this is a handheld. So the comparisons... And I want Nintendo to have a fucking console again. And maybe the Switch 2 will be capable as a console. Right? But yeah, these games, like, cool, man. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm sure some of them will be fun. Whatever. I have no desire to play any of them on a big TV. On a Nintendo device. On that Nintendo device. In the future, the Switch 2, maybe. I hope to God it's backwards compatible. It's even ridiculous that I even have to ask that question in the back of my brain. Right? But it's a legitimate question, I think, that people have over the next Nintendo device. Nobody knows. And it would be something that they could do and just completely get away with. Right?
Yeah.
We'll
of course.
Fucking see.
I mean, it's been proven time and time again. And I just, again, for me, the idea that they're held to their own lowered standards because of the nostalgia. And again, I'm not going to take away from the games for what they are. Again, when they come out, most of their games are quality, and most of their games are up to, to the level that they can do. Most of their games are good, right? There are some of their games that come out with performance issues that are just washed over and just, oh, that's the hardware. It is what it is. We're used to it. We like 15 frames. It's fine. But there is a time, to Mav's point, where Nintendo, and again, you could just say it's just me and Mav and our brain set, whatever else, that's fine too.
There's documentaries where they talk about this shit, about trying to figure out how to do 3D and push things forward. Yeah, I mean, like,
just like PlayStation, right? We talked about this with PlayStation. We want PlayStation to go back to the diverse lineups. We want PlayStation to go back to the first parties that tried a bunch of different games, different style games, and don't come at me with like, oh, they still make a lot of different games. Listen, not like they did during the PS1 and PS2 era, okay? And even the PS3 era. They had studios making all types of different games, okay? We've asked for that to come back again because they were so damn good at it. We'd love to see it. I'd love to see Nintendo. Nintendo doesn't have to be cutting edge tech. I'm not saying that they have to go back to that. But my God, let's give them a little bit of push to try something new. That's why I said I'm fascinated by the Switch 2, because if it is the power bump that we're talking about, that is going to change how they develop games. That is going to change the style of games that those first parties can do. If they start rolling out Mario Wonderland 2 during the Switch 2 era, and it looks like the same damn game over again, right? I'm going to say something, because I'm going to be like, wait, you guys have all this extra power now. Are you going to try something new? Like, why are we not innovating? For Nintendo's innovation. I'm not talking about innovating on the games industry anymore, because they're not in that playing field anymore. But if you're not going to even push your own hardware, I'm going to have some questions. Next Zelda that comes out better have a much more detailed, populated, open world than what you're currently showing off, right? That better be happening. We can't roll the same shit out here if the Switch 2 is more powerful. But would they be able to get away with it? Yes, if the frames were solid 30, 60 frames, but they looked exactly the same as the Switch games, but people are getting offered more third-party games, and that's the only reason why they went to the Switch 2. If that was the case, they would be praised for it. And they would be saying, that's great. That's fantastic. Me and Mav just want them to push a little bit more. But I got to say, the media... Listen, this goes back to my whole, if the last thing I'll say, and again, we've been on this long enough, but it is kind of funny because it's just Nintendo. And again, I respect the shit out of them. And like I said, they've got my interest for the first time in decades. So I got to give them credit. But the idea behind a lot of our media rants, right, is the idea that there is obviously, as human beings, going to be personal bias. That has never changed throughout history. There's always going to be personal bias. The point with it is now that the media writes editorials, writes opinion pieces, does all of this. That's what changed overall. And you can argue all day long how long it's been that way in certain areas of society. But here in the games industry, it is more recent that they started following suit with this type of reporting, quote unquote, this type of journalism, quote unquote. If you don't think that these people that do publicly espouse how they feel about Xbox, how they feel about the games industry, and you don't think that that doesn't affect the stories that they write, or that doesn't, because they're not writing factual stories anymore, they're writing editorials, they're writing opinion pieces. If you don't think that that's not getting into all of that, the reviews, what they look into, like the Schreiers of the world who actually do investigative journalism, if you don't think he's not influenced a little bit more to go and find stories to dig up about a Microsoft or Xbox studio than he is about a Nintendo studio, again, I can't show you any more evidence, because that bias is real. And it's fine. Humans are going to have biases. We talk about this all the time. They're going to have biases. But there is a reason why so many articles are slanted against Microsoft and Xbox in particular. There is a reason. And we've got not just even the public. If you think it's just the public ones out here that actually say this stuff out loud sometimes, you got to be completely fooling yourself. There is a massive amount of huge Nintendrones that are journalists. There's a massive amount of PlayStation fanboys and girls who are journalists. And that nowadays is acceptable because they can write that in and nobody says peep except those of us that point it out. But for the most of people, they don't say anything. I'll give you an example this week. IGN put out an article this week about Capcom versus Marvel skipping Xbox. They put out an article based on what the community was saying and how Xbox fans were upset. Mm-hmm. This is IGN, folks. IGN can reach out to Capcom and get direct quotes and answers from Capcom because they have connections to their PR department. They could go to Capcom for an official statement. That's the way journalism used to be done. But they know that article with the facts won't get as many clicks as an article with reposting a bunch of fans, Xbox fans, complaining that Marvel vs. Capcom is not coming to Xbox. That's the difference nowadays. I looked at that article and I was just, all I could do was shake my head. They have access to people at every single one of these companies who can answer questions or at least give a direct quote as to, we're not going to comment on that, or it's not something we're going to talk about at this time, or whatever. Or maybe get a real answer. They have those connections that me and Mav sitting here can't reach out to Capcom. They're going to be like, who the fuck are these two? PM and a PM? Who the fuck? What? We're not going to answer this shit. IGN has direct contact, but they don't do that work anymore, folks. They don't do that work anymore. They'd rather lean into the rage, clickbaits, all that kind of stuff. And that is just a continuation of this. But the Nintendo love, again, it's been earned. Nintendo is the granddaddy. Nintendo, again, changed the face of gaming back in the day with the NES. Nintendo is what it is. And I respect the hustle. But the absolute unadulterated love that people have with no pushback whatsoever for Nintendo is on full display when stuff like this happens. Again, 8 years in development for Metroid Prime 4 or beyond. Not a single article during that whole time about troubled waters. Ooh, we should be worried. What's going on over at Nintendo?
It's like, where is it? That was the only thing I saw. Like, where's
the only thing.
Will we get to
God, I want my Metroid Prime so bad. Please, Nintendo, please give us something. That's the difference that we see all the damn time between some of the companies. And again, it was on full display this week. All right. That's the most, Mav, we've talked about Nintendo maybe ever.
Yeah. I mean,
that was a lot. We've covered their directs.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Jesus.
I don't know. Everybody loved the show, that they had. I think
yes.
Overall, like, they had as good of a show as they can have for the kind of games that they are capable of making.
Yes. Well, I mean, yes. Again, it's fine to say it was a great show. I thought it was a good show. It's fine. But don't sit here and try to say it's groundbreaking. Don't act like Nintendo is doing something outrageously special. They are reserving you the same dish with a couple new spices on it, and you are acting like they just served you a 5-star meal that you had never seen before. Like that, like, to me, that's like crazy. Like, yo, that's not what's happening here, like, at all. Not even close. Yeah. So, anyways, all right. Mav. Where do we go from here, brother? Let's take a look here. Let's get into some fun stuff here. Well, you know what? No, let's continue. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get the booty interview out of the way.
Oh, okay.
We might as well get the booty interview that happened today, or that was at least reported on today. It was in Variety. So again, not a games necessarily media that we think of, but they did an interview with Mr. Matt Booty, and he had some very interesting quotes. I'm going to read from the Windows Central article here from Samuel Talbert over there at the Windows Central. Shout out to Jez and the crew. Xbox's Matt Booty discusses reactions to the Xbox showcase, shipping Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, closing studios like Tango Gameworks, and more. Juicy interview.
Oh, hey, real quick.
Yeah,
go. Just before we get, I want to get to the super chat.
Yeah, get the super chat. I know we have super chat.
Yeah, if we didn't do
yeah. Let's not skip. Go. Yep.
Bold Alpha Wolfpack $5 said Nintendo doesn't have to break the mold, just remain consistent. Now and again, push the needle with the Tears of the Kingdom. That's what their gamers want. I would love if a Tears of the Kingdom ran on a device that made it run good. That's what I want. Tears of the Kingdom, but on a better device, right? So it looks a little bit better and can play better. It looks better on a big screen.
That's the mentality, Bold. And again, they've been massively successful, right? Who am I to say anything different? I'm just saying that there's never any critique when it comes to Nintendo. Nope. There just isn't.
It's an
acceptance.
Or
if there is, it's very minor, and it's shouted down by the rest of the fans who are like, "Oh, no,
yeah, how dare you say this about Nintendo? We love Nintendo. Their games are great." Alvin, also a member for 24 months. That's a long ass time, bro. Said, imagine Metroid 4 not limited to a Pentium Duo.
Right.
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 Yeah, exactly.
Right. Exactly. Think about what Metroid Prime could be.
Excited. It's a handheld showcase.
Right. It is.
That's in Decado.
Yeah, I just saw that. Decado, ladies. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Before we move on to the next topic, I do have to let you know that you need to pay attention to the screens above your head, because you will have seen that we moved from a Mach 2.25 with a little bonus coal from me and Mav up here in the front in the engine. We got that furnace burning hot enough to get us to a Mach 3.0. That's right, the one and only Decado came overhead, dropped off a bag of coal, got on the court with the easy 5 layup. That's right, that the one and only Decado. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Get those 4-point harnesses strapped down tight, because we're getting those speeds where you might fly off. We don't want you to do that. And welcome aboard, all you new speculators, because we added a whole new car of people to this Mach 3.0 today, keeping us ad-free in 2024. Hashtag no beans 2024. And your goal for the month of June, in case you all forgot, is now at 6,890. You guys are getting down there. Got a couple weeks left. Let's go. Bold Alpha Wolf Pack, though. And attention, ladies and gentlemen, I am back, because we cannot end this special announcement without, once again, moving the needle up a little bit further. That's right. We are now at Mach 3.5, thanks to the Bold Alpha Wolf Pack. He flew overhead right behind the Decado, dropped off another bag of coal, got on the court. He did a nice little easy finger roll. All net, baby. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Mach 3.5. And welcome aboard another car full of speculators. That's right. The hype train is rolling tonight on a Thursday night. Welcome aboard, all of you, and thank you all for joining us yet again on another episode of PM the PM. All right. Thank you. Love y'all. Really do. It's freaking crazy, man. So Matt Booty, the good old Booty, came through with some massive quotes. I was reading from the Windows Central here. So what you need to know: Matt Booty, president of game content and studios at Microsoft Gaming, spoke with Variety in a new interview. Booty touched on a number of topics, including reactions to the recent Xbox Game Showcase, and closure of Tango Gameworks, and bringing Sea of Thieves to PlayStation 5. Speaking on the latter point, Booty says, quote, "We have been really pleased," while noting games are continuing to be evaluated on a case-by-case. Oh, he said more than that. Hopefully they'll have the quotes in here. If not, I've got them elsewhere. So this article goes on to say a new interview is providing a bit more insight into the Xbox business. Matt Booty, president of Game Content Studios at Microsoft Gaming, spoke with Variety for the Strictly Business podcast on Thursday. Booty touched on a large number of topics, including, I said all that because I was part of the breakdown. Quote, "We are beginning to hit the rhythm that we've always aspired for, and that really is our commitment to our players, of being able to deliver a much more steady cadence of games on a more predictable rhythm," Booty said, noting that fan and press reaction to the showcase has been extremely positive, with praise of the number and variety of first-party games shown and slated for the next couple of years. During the showcase, first-party titles Doom, The Dark Ages, Fable, South of Midnight were all slated for 2025, while Gears of War E-Day, Perfect Dark, and State of Decay 3 were not given release years at all. Per Booty, this is due to wanting to find the exact right time to launch a game, while making sure it doesn't conflict with another first-party title or third-party title, name-dropping Grand Theft Auto 6 as a game the entire industry wants to avoid. Thank God they think the way we do on this one, Mav. Stay away from Grand Theft Auto 6. Whatever you got, just stay away from Grand Theft Auto 6, okay? Doesn't matter. Just stay away from it. This goes on to say, quote, "We certainly want to make sure every game is given space and has got an opportunity to shine, and we don't end up overshadowing a game by launching it too close to another," Booty explains, adding that the portfolio planning revolves around ensuring the teams don't conflict with other companies' titles, but also, quote, "so that we're not getting in our own way," end quote. Booty also notes there's an interest across the teams at different studios in sharing ideas and tech, and that there are some early discussions happening as Microsoft figures out what facilitating that looks like. We talked about that stuff a long time ago, Mav. Sounds like it's legit. When asked about the gaming synergy, like with other mediums like TV and movies, such as with the recent Fallout resurgence happening largely due to a success of Fallout Prime show, Booty praises the series, but indicates Microsoft isn't explicitly trying to make that kind of success happen by forcing it. Booty points to vastly different production schedules of games, movies, and TV shows, and notes that trying to sync those up in years in advance can be extraordinarily difficult and risky, and it's better to simply produce that kind of linear media and have it benefit an existing franchise. Or you could just do remakes nonstop like PlayStation. I mean, Booty, that's always, you could just do that. Launch a show, have a remake, just do it that way. Remaster, just make
People
everybody buy it
love
again.
Love it.
People love it. Love it. Eat it up. No, don't do that, Booty, please. Well, you could do it with Fallout, though. Anyways, earlier in the year, the shocking news broke that Microsoft was closing Bethesda's Arcane Austin, Alpha Dog Games, and Tango Gameworks. The latter came as a particular shock as the now shuttered first-party Japanese developer had shipped Hi-Fi Rush in 2023 to critical acclaim. Quote, "Those decisions are never made lightly. They are never made quickly. And there are a lot of people and processes and oversight to make sure we're making a good decision," Booty says when asked about the closures, adding that he didn't want to share nitty-gritty details. Okay, Booty. But mentions that Microsoft looks across leadership at studios and if the teams are set up for success in the future, not just if they were successful in the past. I could have a lot of comments about that. But anyways, Booty also points out that Microsoft has been open to allowing teams to go independent in the past if it's clear things weren't a good fit, including recently with former Activision subsidiary Toys for Bob, which is now an independent studio, though the team's first game is a project being published by Xbox. 2024 saw Microsoft ship 4 Xbox console exclusives across other consoles, touching on all of the games. Booty notes that Microsoft's main focus and success has been with Sea of Thieves, a shared world pirate adventure developed by Rare. Quote, "We have been really pleased," Booty says, noting that when Sea of Thieves launched across PlayStation 5, the team saw uptick in Xbox and PC player engagement as well, while also sharing that large number of PlayStation players were enjoying the game in cross-play. The success grows the franchise overall per Booty, allowing the teams at Rare and Xbox to continue to invest in the game. When asked about what this means for future Xbox exclusive, Booty reiterates that the teams are evaluating games hitting on other consoles on a case-by-case basis, adding that Xbox players can absolutely... Okay, this is the quote that you kind of guys going to want to listen to here. Adding that Xbox players can absolutely continue to expect many games to launch as exclusives, and that the Xbox promise that all Xbox first-party games come to Xbox Game Pass will continue to be true. Analysis and some interesting insight. This was a very good interview to listen to, and I broadly think Booty's answers make a lot of sense. I'm particularly happy with Microsoft isn't seeing the success of Fallout TV series and immediately chasing that success elsewhere, trying to force some kind of synergy. Disagree, but digress. I'm also glad to hear that the teams at Xbox are interested in sharing tech and ideas. While that already happens within individual publishers, sharing it across divisions could lead to some wild stuff. If an Xbox game studio or Activision team wants to use id Tech or Creation Kit, what does that look like? While I know hearing case by case doesn't make hardcore Xbox fans happy, I continue to see a logical behind careful evaluation for each title. The next Doom is going to be multi-platform at launch, and I certainly think that makes a lot of sense, as did Sea of Thieves. On the flip side, having games like Gears of War E-Day and Perfect Dark being targeted to Xbox hardware and PC also makes a fair bit of sense. The continued non-answers regarding the closure of Tango Gameworks continue to leave a sour taste in my mouth, however. I am fully aware the teams change over time, but with a ludicrously successful parent company and profitable business, Microsoft easily could have afforded to take some minuscule hit in allowing those teams to build and rebuild so they positioned for the success in the future. And you already know that Mav and I both agree with that statement when that all went down. We both said basically that same thing. Interesting, Mav. Review, kind of breakdown of the interview. I have not had a chance, super busy at work. I did not get a chance to listen to the actual interview, but I think most of probably the grand quotes have been pulled out. I will probably go back and listen to it at some point this week, because I do like to, just to get context and to hear if there's anything else that maybe people didn't pick up on it right away. But we don't need to talk about the Tango game. I think we've talked about the Tango Gameworks stuff to death. We did that when it happened. It is what it is. It's over with. It's done. I don't like the non-answers either. I want the nitty gritty. I want the exact answer. But as a company, they don't have to give it to us. That's their prerogative. They're choosing to do it this way. So corpo speak it is. So I'm not going to sit here and relitigate that whole situation again. I think they could have done something different, but that's not what happened. Let's talk about this, Mav. Case by case basis. This is stuff we've talked about plenty here too. We got heat for even discussing that we didn't like necessarily this decision originally when it was brought out that they were going to start going, multi-plat with some of their titles. But since that point, since we had our conversation, so we talked it out, we criticized it, we said what we needed to say. Both you and I as gamers have said, as gamers, doesn't affect me in the least. I'm in the Xbox ecosystem. I get more games than Game Pass day and date. That whole entire showcase, basically 70% of that showcase, 75% of that showcase, all Game Pass games. I'm eating good. Don't give a shit. I'm going to ride the ecosystem until the wheels fall off is what I've been saying. I don't care at the end of the day as a gamer. Okay. So, but use an interesting choice of words here, Matt, for the rest of the people out here, for the people who are still upset. This adds fuel to the fire for the people that are very upset at this change of course, this evolution of Xbox. This adds fuel to that fire. This will not in any way, shape, or form stop the future conversations after every showcase about what titles are going to go to PlayStation. They're all going, this is not going to stop they're just going full third party. They just haven't announced it yet because he said case by case basis. But Mav, Xbox players adding that Xbox players can absolutely continue to expect many games to launch as exclusives. Okay. To me, just like Phil with his full chest in the Ryan McCaffrey interview after the showcase said, we're putting more games elsewhere. We're doing it. This right here says they are going exactly the way we thought they would, right? After we, digested it and said, okay, well, this is the evolution. This is the evolution. Yes, games are still going to launch exclusive on Xbox, but it is more than likely going to be a timed exclusive for potentially even the big giant franchises. Like this is Booty wrapping it up with a bow that we're going to have different games. Some will be day and date multi-plat. Some will be a year. Some will be 6 months. Some will be 2 years. But yes, they're going. What do you think, Mav? What do you think?
I mean, I think the writings have been on the wall for that, or kind of already. I think exclusivity is always still going to be an important part of the ecosystem. Said that, who knows what form of exclusivity that takes. But generally with the ecosystem, you're going to have some kind of exclusivity to be a differentiator, right? And I think that's going to continue. I think there's going to be games that launch multi-platform. I think there's going to be games that come out later on other platforms. And I think there's still probably going to be some that maybe don't end up going anywhere else. Right. Sure. I don't think anything is clear. And I think that's okay because they're transitioning into this new model. And I think for the most part, people are just getting used to it now. And I've noticed a lot different conversation other than the January to April doom and gloom so much that this was going to be the death of Xbox. I think people are understanding finally that this doesn't mean the end of things for Xbox finally. And that's what I thought was the most important message for them to get across back when they had that business update event. They tried to get it across then. It went over people's heads still. It wasn't until later on that those games actually released. People saw that, hey, the world isn't on fire now, right? Everything else is pretty much the same.
Yep.
And then they go out and have a killer showcase and put everything out there, and then also reaffirm again new hardware again, reaffirm Game Pass day and date again, all these other kind of things that they've had to reassure everybody, the insecure gamer minds that we have, right? About the platform and the ecosystem and the brand. They're always like ready to jump off the ledge every time we think something little is going to happen.
Supposedly we were.
Because we criticized over studio closures. That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
We were jumping off. Like, we were totally jumping off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, so like the whole thing with the exclusivity stuff has always been kind of like, well, I don't necessarily agree with their thinking as far as like business side of it. I think that personally, having the exclusives be pure exclusives would be better ultimately for Microsoft and Xbox in the long run, right? Their thinking isn't necessarily the same as ours, but as long as they're committed to making hardware and still creating the games and putting them in Game Pass, like that's what matters most to me. Like I've never had this thing about needing to feel special because somebody else can't play a game, right? Like for me, it's about what I can play and with the value and the experience that I'm getting. And I think that is best on Xbox. I think the showcase that we just had showed the entire industry that that's going to be best on the Xbox ecosystem. Whether you decide to play on PC, whether you decide to play on an Xbox console, like that's all tied together now with what they're doing and this whole thing. And like, they did what we said they needed to do was go out there, lay everything out on the table, and be so undeniable that they have so much stuff that people are going to have a hard time saying otherwise now. And that they did that. They accomplished the goal. The games media conversation, casual conversation has shifted dramatically since that showcase.
For the most part, yes. Yeah. For the most part, it did.
And they made an impact. They did what they needed to do there. Now it's just got to release the games, keep the momentum, keep doing what you're doing, and everything's good. Like, as gamers, we're good. I'm happy playing the games that they're going to put out. Like, as long as the games are good, I'm happy. Like, that's what it should be about. I want them to innovate. I want them to keep investing in customer first features and services that help our experience as gamers. And I want them to keep investing in the value that we get. Plus, keep investing in the studios. I don't like the studio closures. That was a bad thing for me, right? Like, I didn't like that. So that was the opposite of what I want them to do. Like, just keep doing all the other stuff they've been doing, and everything's great for me. It doesn't matter like what word Matt Booty used at this time in this interview to try and specify. I think if anything more, it's like, what are they going to say now because they don't know the answers? So it's like they have to try and say something that's not going to get them in trouble later, but they don't have the clear answers today because it is what they said. Everything's a case by case basis. It's like when they get asked about the Tango Studios closures, right? Everybody always criticizes their answers about that. And I've been critical of them over the closure, but I'm not critical over their answers to the closure because what do you expect them to say? Like, what do we expect them to address with that, to say that
in the perfect world, I would love to say that I would love to give the bottom line numbers, like that this was straight up dollars and cents.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that because
right.
Business,
right. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying in a perfect world, that's what I would want to hear from them. Is like the legit business side of it, of what it was.
I wish that would be amazing. right? That would be amazing, but like that's just not the way.
Yeah.
Like
No,
none of these
no,
businesses
no,
operate.
no,
None of them.
no.
None of these businesses are ever going to do that. Like the double standard that like with Schreier and his little bitch ass, like it says about the well, look, at least after this one, we don't have to worry about which studios are going to be closed next year. Yeah, all right, dude. Like, really? What about all the other fucking studios got closed by all these other publishers and every other place this year? Like, PlayStation had studio closures, right?
Yeah.
Did you say anything about that after their state of play that sucked ass? Like,
No,
really?
no.
Did you, Mr. Schreier? Huh? Like anybody
the showcase
else?
is coming. Don't worry.
Is it going to say anything about it after their showcase?
No.
Why is everybody only focused on Xbox
Because
with the studio closures?
Not the cool kids, bro. They're
Like,
not the cool kids.
It's
They're
such a
outside.
like a double standard with any of this, and people expect like when they have that to be so transparent and clear and tell us why did this happen? Like I have to know all the exact answers. They're not gonna give it to us.
But
I wish they would, but they're not going to. Like it's
that is the double-edged sword, Matt, because of how Microsoft has been so transparent and out front and social with the community. That's the difference that establishes a different
that's like fan service marketing versus like when bad shit happens and something like this. Like it's weird that people expect them to have some of this like, well, hey, let me be completely transparent with you guys, right? Like, well, here's the thing. We needed the studio to make this amount of money. They made this amount of money, and we had to be at this certain level. And because of where they were exactly with their release of their next project that was going to be this amount of way, we knew the investment on this amount of dollars wasn't going to be quite enough. So when we had to make this cutthroat decision about being in this certain place, we felt like they were the best choice out of all the bad choices.
I would just like to hear Booty go, Tim Stewart came in and told us we had to pick a studio or 3 to close.
Oh, God, that
Tim
would be
Stewart
amazing.
came in and told me and Phil we didn't have a choice in the matter. These were the numbers, and you have to pick studios that need to be closed.
I guarantee you they fucking wish they could say that.
I would love to
God, I bet they wish they could say that, right? But they just can't. They can't say it. So like I wish we could have more clear answers and transparency, but that's just not the way these fucking companies are going to work.
We need another acquisition and another court case, Mav, so we can get some more freaking emails.
That's where we get the stuff. That's where we get the real shit, right? That's why it's so fascinating when we see that stuff.
I need the emails. Oh my God. Booty going, fuck you, Tim.
Yeah.
Tim.
You're gonna like Tango? No. You gotta pick somebody. Like it's like
Satya stepping in and going, okay guys, calm down.
Yeah,
it would be freaking fantastic to see the emails. Oh God. No, I think obviously there's not. It is interesting that we're now to the. It's interesting again, Matt, because how long you and I have been paying attention, and most of our chat, in fact, have been paying attention to this industry the way we have, that we're so passionate, that we have looked at the business stuff even back in the day before a lot of people ever did. And we read articles and we kept up to date on a lot of this stuff that most people just, skipped over in the magazines or on the web pages. But it is again, just interesting to watch the language change and evolve with Xbox, and how easily when they come out with new interviews, there's just new little twists, right? Like you said, they're saying what they can say because as you and I have talked about, and everybody has talked about here, we all believe that they honestly don't have like a roadmap for every title about which titles are going multi-plat. It's not like that.
That's why
this
all the
is not
reports
exact
have been
science right
considering.
now. Yeah, correct. Considering and all this kind of stuff. So I truly believe that. Like, I don't think that's BS. I just think that they don't know right now for sure. They don't have some specific plan for each title. So they have to talk about it in certain ways, but it is interesting how we just had a showcase, Mav, where exclusive wasn't said one time. Right. And that used to be the big thing. You only have to go back 2 years ago to see how big of a deal it was when Sarah stepped out on stage and talked about Starfield being exclusive. Right. And said it like 4 times in her introduction to Starfield. To now, fast forward to 2024. And all of a sudden we get a whole entire one of the, if not the best showcase a lot of us have seen ever, and not from a first party company that makes hardware still, and not one mention of exclusivity in there, right? Only mentioning Game
Nobody
Pass.
cared.
Right. But I'm just saying it is interesting to see this happen. And now you got Booty interview where he goes launch as exclusive, right? Like, holy shit, man. Like, this is crazy. Like, from where we were, the old ways have been completely, at least for Xbox, thrown out the window. And now they're using all these new types of different ways of saying it, because they don't honestly know which ones aren't, and they're not going to lock themselves in. Like you said, they're not going to paint themselves in a corner. They're not going to say anything stupid. They've done that plenty of times, but they're trying to tell everybody out here that are Xbox fans, like, listen, this is happening.
Phil was pretty clear. Yeah.
Oh, Phil was, again, chest out, man. Chest out. Like that was the most sure I've seen Phil in a long time.
Guys, we just had a best showcase you've ever fucking seen with badass games, and we're doing all this shit for you. Shut the fuck up. We're going to be doing what we think we got to do. That's basically what Phil said.
Yeah, right? That's where Phil's at. And that's fine.
Do you want this shit or do you not, is what he said.
I don't have to agree with it, but I understand. Yeah. And as a gamer, again, don't care, because Game Pass is obviously still a main, if not the main vehicle that they are going to drive forward. And they are going to put everything into Game Pass, and that ain't stopping. So until that changes, until they backtrack on that promise, I ain't raising any red flags at this point. I said my piece about it. I'm cool with it. Whatever. As a gamer, I'm getting more than I ever have before value-wise, which has already been extreme for somebody like me. I'm getting even more. For the people out there, though, that do feel like they are missing out, or for the people who do still want to have the argument that potentially this could lead to a point where more third parties skip Xbox as they put less and less emphasis on the hardware. Less and less emphasis on the hardware. That could potentially lead to more third parties going, why would we even spend money to put games over on Xbox? Like, I can still hear those conversations and those talking points. Those are valid, and they may come true down the road. They may come true, and we might start seeing that a little bit, because I can see that happening. But, and I do feel for you, but that all I'm going to say again is, then you got to make a decision, right? You have to do what's best for you as a consumer. Even as a fan of Xbox, even if you are thinking that you've been hurt by Xbox, that they've broken their promise, that you hate this new direction, that this isn't the Xbox you bought into, then you have to make a decision. And you have to either go and invest in a PC, gaming PC, or you have to go over to PlayStation if you think that you're going to be able to play all your Xbox games on PlayStation at some point. I'm just telling you right now, I don't think that's going to be the case for a very long time, if ever. I think there is still going to be some stuff that is held, that I still think that there's going to be, not every game's going to show up there, but you got to make that choice. And you as a consumer, the only person who can do that, but that is going to be a personal thing for you. So this evolution continues here. Mav, any thoughts on, him being, I mean, it kind of just wraps into what we were just talking about, but really interesting that he mentioned no other titles outside of Sea of Thieves. So can we assume the other three, even though we heard a couple blips of, Grounded, kind of bumping up a little bit, that really out of the four, they hit 25%, right? Which was Sea of Thieves, and Sea of Thieves did seem to be impressive enough that it, hands down, everybody at the top is saying something about it. Is that how you kind of read it? Because they're not mentioning any of the other three titles at all.
I think ultimately the other ones maybe generated a little bit for them. Like, who knows if it did what they wanted, but like, all it takes is one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, especially, I think it was the best-selling game on PlayStation in May.
Mm-hmm. In Europe and the USA.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's pretty impressive. I'm not saying like May had the biggest, best release slate, but still being number one on top of everything else on the entire platform is, for any month, is kind of a big deal, especially for an old game, right? So, that's a game that's going to continue to grow an audience there as well, because they're going to keep putting out content for it. So I think they just see it as like, hey, this is a lot more recurring revenue here. it's good for Rare, it's good for the game, and if that's maybe going to help us in the future. And I think they're willing to take those chances here and there and not have a home run every time they do something, because when they do have something that works, the other chances you took become worth it. So I think they're going to continue with some of these other games. I don't know what all they're going to decide to choose to do. Multiplayer stuff like that, I think it's got a good chance. Like, obviously, people have been craving that kind of game over there. Sea of Thieves would be the number one seller in May, like, for the platform. That's a multiplayer focused game, dude. Like, I think it's pretty. I mean, it's just pretty telling. So, yeah, they got to be happy with it. If it didn't work and like nobody cared and nobody sold, they wouldn't seem the way they are right now, I don't think. So.
It's different. I think that is one of the deciding factors. We kind of speculated on this too about future games and what could go. This is why I think Gears could eventually go too as well. Why I think Halo could go. I mean, again, if we are talking about no restrictions here, I think that because Xbox knows that those types of games don't exist over on PlayStation, that they can do this stuff. Like, there is no other game like Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, right? Outside of Skull and
aren't they
Bones,
like the biggest like third-party publisher on PlayStation?
Now, yes, they are.
Yeah, with Call of Duty and all that stuff now. Just think about what a power
move
and that
power
is
position
for Xbox. Like, and everybody's concerned about that, like, for what it means for Xbox gamers, right? But like, think about that in position of being Microsoft and Xbox, like what that means for them, like have that much power over your competition because your games are the most popular on their platform.
Right.
Your games aren't only most popular on your platform. Your games are also the most popular on another platform. Right. Yeah. And that's the position that they're in now. It's not just ABK. It's ZeniMax Bethesda games too. And you're going to see more of those. When Doom Dark Ages comes out, it's going to sell really well on PlayStation. If they put Starfield on PlayStation, eventually it will sell well over there as also, people play Fallout 76 there. They play Elder Scrolls Online there, right? Like, I mean, there's Minecraft. I mean, like there's so many things that they make money on over there on the competition, and they're going to continue to do this going forward. It's kind of one of those things. Real quick, I want to get to the super chat because it's kind of it fits in with this. With $10 super chat from Bold Alpha. Bold Alpha says, Mav, do you think Xbox sacrificed too much in the FTC trial? They could have came out of that with more free reign. From my understanding, they agreed not to weaponize exclusivity to crush competition. I think they agreed to only on certain games, like the Activision Blizzard games. But overall, I think if you say sacrificed too much, I don't think so, because if you were to say this was the old Xbox and this was a much smaller acquisition and they made that kind of sacrifice for exclusivity or whatever, and even if it was the whole slate for everything or whatever, then you would say that, okay, that's a huge detriment to their business model and what they're going to do, right? But this acquisition in and of itself transformed Microsoft and Xbox into something else that they wanted to become. They wanted ABK. They wanted this multi-platform existence. They wanted all the money from PlayStation, from the PC, from mobile, right? So like the existence of the games that they were already putting out, which was not very many per year, prior to all these acquisitions, prior to all this stuff, talking about the detriment of maybe some like timed exclusives later going, or exclusivity on some of those maybe later going to other platforms, or some of your games and service games maybe going to other platforms or whatever. If that's the sacrifice that you're talking about them making from what they were already existing in to acquire the most popular games on the competitor's platform, it transforming your company into something way bigger than anybody comprehended or could comprehend at the time, like, that's definitely, I don't think they sacrificed too much at all. I think in the long run, it'll be this acquisition for them will be a moment in gaming history. Everybody looks back on it as like, that's when Xbox really accelerated into becoming this next big thing. And I think they're on the cusp of really being the dominant player in all of gaming. And I'm not just talking about like platform. If you're talking about boxes, I'm talking about you saw that showcase. It dominated the conversation. It dominated what everybody's opinions of were for the game pipelines coming up for future platforms. Then you combine that with the biggest releases on your competition and already existing games in your competition that are more played than other games as well. They're not only important to the Xbox games now aren't only important to Microsoft and Xbox's survival. They're important to PlayStation's. And they're trying to get it to the point to where in the future, their games also will be important on Nintendo. They're going to be important on mobile. They're important on PC. And they have this ecosystem that is accessible from all these different access points for a lower price. They are setting themselves up in position to be something that people aren't ready for. They're not understanding what it is. And when these games start dropping in cadence like this, like well, they already kind of started, we're going to start seeing all these releases. And then going into 2025, 2026, nobody's going to fucking care if one of those games is on PlayStation. Nobody's going to fucking care if one of those games is on a Switch or a Nintendo or on PC or anywhere else. It's going to be like, holy shit, this gaming subscription is amazing. I keep giving us these fucking games. Like, that's all people are going to care about. And ultimately, if that's what Microsoft can turn this into, like, that's what they want, like, that's definitely worth the sacrifice.
Yeah, Ducato asked too if we thought that it would change once the billions were paid back, and that kind of rolls into that map. No, it's not going to change, Ducato, because the shareholders are going to see these numbers, and it doesn't matter once the billions are paid back. That just means they're in the black at that point, and they're going to keep expecting that same return over and over, even if it's already paid back. So from that standpoint, I don't think it changes. I think this is the true evolution. And again, everybody, you know, it's been said a billion times by a billion different people for different reasons, but it is true. I mean, at the end of the day, Microsoft is a software company. They always have been. Like, this is their bread and butter. Like, everybody has, talked about, the hardware, and we've seen them try all different types of hardware, whether it's the Surface, whether it's the Windows Phone. They continuously try hardware, but their bread and butter has been software. So now they're in their bag, as Cog would say, right? They're in their bag. This is where they're comfortable at. Now, again, there's some other things that we could sit here and nitpick, like marketing. We saw a big shakeup with the head of marketing leaving this week, which some people are now claiming internally has been kind of celebrated as a change that was needed. We've talked about the marketing standpoint, but software, they understand software. That's their whole freaking business is software. And that's all games software are at the end of the freaking day is software and services. So they've got the service in Game Pass, right? They got the service in Xbox Live. They got the service in Azure cloud servers. They now got a service in AI, and they got all the software now they could ever ask for as one of the world's biggest publishers, if not the world's biggest publisher of content. So they are in their bag. They're going to stay here. They're going to continue to evolve. The industry is going to continue to evolve. We know that now for a fact. This isn't just an Xbox thing. Like, again, we just saw a PlayStation IP go to Switch. I don't care what anybody, I've seen all the arguments. I even visited a couple dark alleyways to see how people were trying to spin this shit. And oh boy, the clowns are spinning some plates out here trying to get out of Lego Horizon going to Switch. But many of them didn't even try to spin and said, yeah, it looks like PlayStation's going to start doing this. Like, they're going to start testing the waters as well. The industry is changing as a whole. So I think Xbox is ahead of the curve, as always. Of course, they're one of the most vocal about these things when they do these things. All eyes are always on them because Microsoft, being the one of two most most valued companies in the entire world, one of the richest companies in the world. They're all spotlights are always on them a little bit brighter. So they always get noticed more when they do this. They've been ahead of the curve far too many times and not stuck with it and dropped out. And then somebody else picks up right where they left off and takes it and runs with it and scores. But this time around, they're in for the long game, I believe. And I believe this time they're going to prove out to be mostly correct in their thinking about this industry and where it's going. And they're going to be ahead of everybody for the long run because they started so long ago thinking about some of this stuff. So all that preparation leading up to this point, yes, this ABK deal was an accelerant. Again, the old way of thinking that I wish they still kind of had. Yes, could they compete toe to toe with Sony now? Absolutely. The showcase proved that they could, but that's not the future they see for the industry. That's not going to sustain them. So they're going in this direction. So I think it's going to continue. So good questions though, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Jarrett. Yeah, that's what I just said. Psychonauts, Jarrett West leaving. I'm not going to talk big about it. Again, I don't think it's a part of the reorganization within Xbox right now that we've been seeing nonstop, right? People moving out, people moving in, changes of positions, different divisions being moved under, like the Surface division, Windows division now being moved under Xbox. This is just a reorg. But yeah, Jarrett West leaving is the head of marketing that was there for, I think, like 10 years or something. Is it 8 years, 10 years, something like that?
Yeah.
And I saw Tom, who put it out today? Was it Verge?
I saw somebody. Yeah, I don't remember.
It was
who
Verge.
I saw.
Yeah, it was in the notepad. It was in his paid for notepad. So Tom Warren put out today in his notepad that that behind the scenes within Microsoft that this is considered a good move that Jarrett West is leaving. I think there was a lot of frustration with some of the marketing, just like we've critiqued the marketing and lack of marketing, I should say, more so than anything. So some people are claiming that this is a good thing. But I think it's just part of the reorg as they try to figure this thing out going forward. They're trying to streamline. They're trying to get everybody on the same page amongst all these divisions that are all going to be a part of this monster that is Xbox now. It's anytime. I never thought there would be a point. If you had asked me, it doesn't matter, any point through these years that I thought Windows would be underneath Xbox, I would have laughed.
Yeah.
I as much as I saw what Xbox, I would have laughed. Like I never thought that would have happened. This Xbox division is now massive. This is a monster for Microsoft. They now control a lot within Microsoft, and they have position of power. And they have the position of power because of what they're evolving into, because it means more than just a gaming division to Microsoft now. It is more than just that. It is much bigger. And so, yeah, I think this is just a continuation of all that. So interesting times though. Interesting times.
Transformational,
yeah, that was
bro.
Transformational. And we said that. We said that from the get-go about what this generation was going to be, Mav, that this was going to really kind of shape what the future was looking like. This was going to give us a glimpse to where the industry was going overall. That this generation, again, it's happened differently than faster. I think any of us could. Yeah. It's happened faster. The pandemic screwed up everything. Like there was things that nobody could have predicted happening here, but it is transformational at the end of the day. This is really shaping the future of the games industry, this generation, and next generation is going to look different than what it is even now. I think so, especially in the AAA space. There's going to be a lot of big changes coming for different companies and different reasons. And yeah, we're going to see a different games industry next gen. So I'm excited, man. Like I said, I'm excited. I don't look at it as glass half empty. I'm the glass half full guy. I'm excited because all I see is better and better stuff for us, more and more games being made. All of them available on Game Pass from Xbox. I'm cool. I'm good, man. So, but yeah, good interview overall with Booty. What else, Mav? What else? Oh, we got the announcement, Mav, today as well. Xbox, Gamescom. Bro, biggest booth they've ever had at Gamescom.
Yep.
And basically all of their
credibility to Paris saying that they have like more than one show this year, like a big more than one big show. Yeah.
Which we said to Mav. We said when we knew when the showcase ended, right? And they hadn't shown off a lot of stuff. We were like, dude, they got a whole nother showcase underneath their belt. They got a whole nother showcase to show people. So they held all this stuff back. Yeah, they're going to spread it out through the rest of the year. But to your point too, Matt, when we were just talking about them laying it all out there and being so big that people can't deny them anymore, that it is undeniable that Xbox is coming. Pause, hard, pause. This is a continuation of that. They are going to dominate.
Xbox is coming.
They go to, yes, they are going to Gamescom and having the biggest booth that they've ever had, they said. And Blizzard came out. Joanna Faries, shout out to Joanna Faries, by the way. She followed me. I don't know if she knows who I am, but she followed me. Follow me back. Head of Blizzard. But she came out today and talked that the Blizzard is going to have a massive presence at Gamescom, that they are bringing Diablo, they're bringing World of Warcraft, they are bringing Overwatch even. So there might be some new Overwatch news there. They're going to have a massive presence. Avowed, Obsidian came out today and said Avowed's going to be at Gamescom again, showing off. Yo, Math, they are going to take control from the showcase, as we said, forward. Like, they are going to be in the news. We have the Tokyo Game Show. We still got PAX. We still got the Game Awards, the Keeleys at the end of the year.
They could have a couple little announcements.
Yes, QuakeCon could be something again this year. Gamescom, though, Mav, sounds like everybody's pretty damn freaking excited, bro. Like, everybody was posting today that they're going to be there. That they'll look out for Xbox.
You know who
Xbox
won't be there?
Yeah, PlayStation announced today too as well. I was just about to bring that up. Thank you. That PlayStation once again, which again to me is not a big shocker. I don't know why people make a big deal. This is the 5th year in a row. They don't go to these shows anymore, man. PlayStation don't give two shits.
Nobody fucking cares.
They don't give two shits.
Like, nobody cares if they don't show up. Like,
no.
Like, where are they?
They're not needed. They're not needed anymore. Come out with your PlayStation 5 Pro when you're ready. Show us your hopes and dreams. Yeah. With Wolverine, got it. Better hope look better than that leak does. Holy shit, man. Anyways, besides that
was real. The last
yes,
thing
sir.
that was going around.
Yes, sir.
Oh, are you
yes,
fucking
sir.
kidding me?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's obviously fucking.
What's up with the rooftop?
It's way pre-alpha, bro. I mean,
what's
like
up with
really
the
early.
fucking rooftop?
Listen. Oh, I've seen some new stuff on what they've done to Jean Grey. Yo.
Oh my god.
Oh, we're gonna have issues. Anyway.
My god.
Okay. Anyways. But be that as may, PlayStation, come when you're ready. Give us your hopes and dreams. Again, there's gonna be some stuff I know I'm gonna be excited for. Whether it's Sony Santa Monica's new IP, whatever. There'll be something there, right? That I'll get excited about, right? But just come whenever you're ready. But you're not needed anymore. You don't carry the industry that way anymore. You don't, again, you guys sell, you guys are popular, you're the cool kids in the room, but you're not needed at the parties anymore. You're just not. Okay. There's plenty of other people that have come in nicely and filled that role, especially these past couple years with the lineups of games we're getting from everywhere, Xbox included. You're just not needed to show up to be the life of the party anymore, bro. It's cool, man. Same with Nintendo. Nintendo, you don't have to show up to these shows, right? You don't. So that's cool too. You don't have to. We got it covered. And Xbox is obviously taking full advantage of this, Mav, and saying, yeah, I'll let you go because I've been talking too much and I gotta just for a minute. But I'm just, like we've talked about, the shackles are off, man. This is it. The shackles are off. They're not playing by anybody's rules anymore. They're going to do their thing. They've got all the IP. They've got all the games. They got the Game Pass. They got everything they need to just walk in these shows and be like, hey, we got the full deck. Come join us. We're having a lot of fun over here, right? This is Xbox now. This is who we are now. Yeah, some of these are going to show up elsewhere. Who cares? We got Game Pass. Come play us day one. Now we're on Game Pass for $15 a month, $16 a month. Come play it. They are, it's no holds barred now. That's why I think they're blowing this out at Gamescom. Yeah. This is going to be massive. Go ahead. I'll be back.
Yeah, no problem, man. ABK acquisition happened. They kept it kind of, I mean, they had big shows the last couple years. They had good showings. But yeah, ever since then, it seems like they went full force with the marketing. I remember right after that happened, they went out and they did a bunch of like little announcements and like posts, and then they did the Xbox at the Sphere and all these other like things that just been like started going like a little bit more crazy with pushing the brand forward. Then this year they went a little silent, and then all of a sudden we have this big ass show. Then okay, all the releases are coming. They're all coming out over this next 6 months or so. And we're going to have we're going to have shows, and we're going to have games. And like that one Xbox showcase that we got, that for many people was the best showcase they've seen, right? And for Xbox, it probably is the best Xbox showcase they've ever had. Some people I've seen like, this is the best Xbox showcase in the last 5 years. Like, to really think about it, like that's probably the best Xbox showcase ever. And especially, like, you would have to go back to the 360 days to even have one that's maybe even close to that, right? Like, or I mean, actually the closest thing, to be honest, is probably last year's show. Like, that was amazing. And then the 20, not the show before with the 12 month, but the one before that was also really good. But you have to go back that, like, before those shows, like, a long ways, right? And like, to think that they had this showcase that we have now, that for me is the best showcase they've ever had. To think they have more shit just in their pocket ready to show us, and we know they do. Which is the crazy thing. Like, do they start to make these Gamescom shows or these other shows bigger than they've ever been before, like, for announcements? Because usually, like, the Gamescom stuff, like, and Tokyo Game Show, is usually things don't get revealed there. It's more usually like updated trailers or new information on games and that kind of stuff. But do they start to reveal big things at Gamescom and Tokyo Game Show? Like,
TGS, I think so. That's why we didn't have an Eastern part of the showcase
like
this year. I think that could be, for sure. For sure.
So, like, do they start reserving some stuff? Like, remember the Game Awards, they had Blade in their fucking pocket for the Game Awards last year. Same situation. They had a showcase last year. They could have shown Blade then. You know, they didn't. They saved it for the Game Awards. What are they going to save for the Game Awards this year? Right?
Yeah.
Like, what could it be? If last year was Blade, and that wasn't the only Xbox thing that they showed then either. They had some other stuff. Like, the rest of this year, you could really see big announcements, big things for Xbox throughout the rest of the year, because that's the new reality of what they're doing, like, of how much they have. And they're going back to the Booty interview, talking about the biggest problem is going to be release schedules, release calendars, release windows, and not getting in their partners' ways, not getting in their own ways, and all those kind of things. And that's going to come with announcements too. It's not just going to be for the actual releases. They're gonna start thinking about this stuff, like, okay, well, how do we handle the announcements? Because we don't want to, like, announce, let's say Battlefield gets announced, like, that same day. They don't want to announce, like, another military shooter the same day or something. You know what I mean? Like, they're always going to be thinking about things like that, especially with their partners and what they're doing, especially games that they're marketing, third-party marketing deals and all that kind of stuff with. So they got so much shit, dude. Like, let's say they make a deal for, like, a Japanese-themed, like, feudal Japan samurai game, right? They have the marketing rights for Assassin's Creed Shadows. They don't want to, like, have a Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer at their show right before you have the other brand new game reveal that's very similar in theme, right? Like, there's always things like this that can impact, but they have so many games now that's actually a problem, where it wasn't ever really before. Before they were just craving, like, we need to get this, we need to get something. Now it's, how do we fit everything into a show? How do we cut it down? How do we cut our shows down? Because it's going to be too long. We don't want to force people to sit there for 3 hours. What we do is we have multiple shows. We have them
force
throughout the
me,
year.
Tina. Come on, Tina, force me. I'll sit through 3 hours.
Dude, man, you could say, hey, you sit down today, Mav and Pong, for 8 hours, and we're just going to show you the slate for the next 4 years.
Fucking go.
Like, okay, bro, let's just fucking kick
Let's
back.
go. Yep.
We'll see what you got. We'll co-stream the whole thing, dude. We'll have, love it. I would eat that shit up. But they know that's not what most people are going to be able to focus on. They have metrics like what's people's attention span for like retaining information, remembering things, and being able to stay excited, and like all these stupid things, right? I want 3-hour shows. I don't care, but all those things matter to them. It matters the amount of time that they do that and try and put the impact on what's at the show. But we know they cut this fucker down so much.
Well, we know for a fact they did. Yes.
So what was cut? What is going to be shown later? And will they reserve what they cut for next year? Will they reserve what they cut for the Game Awards? Or will they reserve what they cut to make a bigger Gamescom show? Will they reserve what they cut for, hey, well, let's take all the Eastern stuff and let's put it all in the Tokyo Game Show? Like, that's probably what they're doing, man. Like, yeah. What if they like actually did, just hypothetical, right? Here's an example of something that could be. Let's say, and I don't necessarily think this, but I'm just using it as an example. What they know that like Forza is really popular in Europe, right? That it generally like for the Forza brand, Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport have been one of the more popular brands that they have in Europe, right? So, okay, well, hey, if we got to custom for our show, we have Gamescom coming up. What if they actually did have like a Forza Horizon announcement, right? Or like something big, huge thing for Forza Motorsport coming for like a big update 2.0 or anything like that. They could reserve that for Gamescom, right? I mean, that's just the kind of thing you could cut from there to put somewhere else. What if they had some other kind of like Halo Infinite big announcement or like something evolving the future of that, or there's tons of different things like that they could end up cutting. You could have a brand new game announcement that they think is going to be really good for that audience there. Plus also like if they do start to have bigger reveals at these other events, it's going to draw more eyes in the future to them because people start to get those expectations, right?
Yep.
So I think this is the time where they start to set that expectation. They've already been getting it bigger with these other shows. But now, with like Blizzard is saying they're going to have a big showing there, or a big presence there. With Xbox saying they're going to have the biggest booth they've ever had there. Like, they're just going to own fucking Gamescom. Just like they owned Summer Showcase season. And they're going to own Tokyo Game Show.
The world's biggest publisher now, bro.
And then they're going to own the Game Awards.
Yeah. Most likely, yes. That's the potential. This is what we talked about. This is what we saw 3 years ago coming, man.
Yeah.
And before ABK, this is what we thought they could do when all the acquisitions were coming. This is exactly what we thought. Now they're doing it differently than we necessarily thought, but it still doesn't matter. It still doesn't take away that the power that they now hold with this in this industry just from sheer force. Like they just have so much ready to go, like for the next 3 years. It's Xbox. It's Xbox and it's Xbox. Yes, PlayStation's going to have their moments. Switch 2 will obviously be a black hole, right? And Nintendo will have their moments, right? They just had a great direct. Switch 2 announcement's going to be a big deal. New games for that's going to be a big deal. But Xbox is going to be just this looming shadow over the industry now, just because of the sheer volume of IP, the amount of devs they have, and the cadence of games they're going to have coming out now. This is exactly what we envisioned. And we always said, Matt, they needed something direct style, right? They go out and they do that, right? They go create it. Tina Amini and her team put that together. We said, how are they going to show all these games off? All these games are going to have to continuously be showing. They're going to have so many games coming that they're going to have to give them all their spotlight to make sure that people don't forget. Just heard in the Booty interview, he is well aware of the exact same thing that we talked about. How do you make it? How do you calendar everything and slot them all so that they all have their breathing space? We talked about that 3 years ago. That's happening. But the other thing we said is, well, if you're going to try to give all these games, spotlight time, you have to use the other shows that are already available to you along with the game, with your directs that you can create with your own showcase, but you have to use the other shows. Well, here we are. That's exactly what they're doing. Could we get a surprise or two at each one of these shows? Yes, we could. They have it in the gun. They have the bullets in the gun. They could. Will we necessarily? Will they hold back because they know they can even shock us more next year with some of this stuff? Yes, they could. But that's going to be the potential now. Going into each one of these showcases with these big presents by Xbox at each one of these shows, wherever they show up, the question now, Mav, is going to be, ooh, are we going to see something new? Or are we going to get a deep dive on that game that's coming out pretty soon? Like, that's going to be like every show now. Like, oh, we're going to see more of it. We're going to see more of these 3 games that we just saw at the showcase, but we'd love to see more of them. Yes. But Replaced has got to still be shown somewhere again, Mav. Like, we know that's coming, right? Towerborn, they confirmed again today or yesterday that they're coming out in 2024. We thought we were going to see them at the showcase. We didn't, right? They got 33 Immortals. So they got the smaller games. They got the big games. So this is the domination, like as far as a talking point goes, right? Dominating the news cycle. This is what Xbox was doing a couple years ago with acquisition season and with all the moves they were making and with Game Pass. Well, now they're doing it from their first party titles that we knew eventually were going to start coming out. Their third party deals that we know that are still cooking and have yet to be revealed. Like, this is where we thought they could be, and this is exactly where they are. And they're seeing a difference, right? The reports of it, Series X and being sold out on Amazon. I checked here. You could buy it from third parties. You could buy refurbished, but you couldn't buy brand new Series X's, right? Don't know how many were there. Don't know how well they were stocked. But it is true. After the showcase, they saw that bump. That excitement level is now up for Xbox.
Yeah.
The media is going to be forced. If they're not on board with Xbox and Microsoft, they're still going to be forced to cover them, Mav, because they are going to be everywhere now. And they're going to be showing up with high quality games on a consistent basis that people are going to want to hear about. Undeniable at this point. Again, we'll go back to that word. They are now undeniable in this industry. You can't dismiss them. You can't say Xbox has got no games. You can't say, oh, it's always waiting until next year. Oh, you can't say that, oh, Xbox is, delaying games again. You're not going to be able to say that for at least the foreseeable future, the next 3 years. You're not, barring a catastrophe, you're not going to be able to say that. They're going to be forced to cover Xbox on a consistent basis from here on out. It's a good thing, man.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's going to be interesting to see what transpires over the next 4 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Like,
just wait until they do hardware and
that's
handheld.
what I'm getting
Jesus,
to. Like,
bro.
the lead up to the next 4 years is going to be crazy, bro. This is our 4th year almost on the channel. It's almost been 4 years since it started. Fucking crazy, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I got on Twitter the other day, I got a notification that it was like the 4-year anniversary of that profile on Twitter. So that tells me like 4 years is about when it started this whole thing, right?
Yep.
And to think about what's transpired in that 4 years since we started this and been a part of kind of the whole community and all these things here, what we've witnessed from like the launch of the consoles to fucking like acquisitions to like the COVID delaying everything and the issues with all of that, like to like VR coming and going with a PlayStation failing. I just like there's a million different things like that has happened and transpired at ABK. Like, fuck, dude, like it is crazy how much has happened this last 4 years. But what's going to be more interesting for me is all of these things have been happening over the last 4 years are setting the table for these next, right? And we're really going to see the results and kind of what these companies have been working towards and focusing on these next like 4 years or so as we see the second half of this generation, plus also everything Xbox has been doing really kind of come into fold with having that impact. Like 3 years from now, Call of Duty would have been an Xbox IP for 3 years, right?
3 years, yeah.
Like, what does that mean for the yearly release? What does that mean for all these things? Like, all these things are going to become more synonymous with the Xbox brand. They still feel fresh and new. Like it's hard to like get in your head. It's an Xbox thing, right? It's going to become more and more transparent and clear over time with the association, you know, and it's going to change people's mindset and outlook on the industry and how they see what Xbox is, right? It's really something different than people have ever thought they were going to be. I can't wait to see how it transpires in the next 4 years, bro. It's going to be crazy, man. Hardware, the devices, Xbox's handheld thing they're going to end up coming out with. What does PlayStation do to compete with this? Because their biggest competition went way bigger than they could ever imagine. Like, Nintendo still Nintendoing their ass, and see what that means for the next generation for them. Like, PC gaming is continuing to get even more adopted and push things forward and more accessible as well. Like, it just so the technology
bridge that gap
for the
gonna be nuts.
Like Unreal Engine 5, what it meant to like smaller development teams and stuff, being able to push all that forward. What does that mean like in the games that we see 3 years from now, like from smaller teams, you know? Like there's so much shit that's happening. It's just like,
you know, all the games that have yet to be announced.
We'll know. Yeah.
And all the games, all the franchises that could come back, all the new IP that we could hear coming out just Xbox, not everybody else, right? But Grand Theft Auto 6 launch is going to happen in the next 4 years, which could be a game-changing, pun intended, moment for the industry as well. If 2K pushes Grand Theft Auto 6 in a certain way or tries new things there, like the unicorn, right? The unicorn that is ultra powerful is about to show up on the playing field, and 2K could certainly try to do something completely different in some areas with Grand Theft Auto 6 that could change the industry again, right? So, yeah, next 4 years are going to be fun as fuck, man.
Yeah,
this is going to be good time,
crazy,
bro.
dude. That's what fun speculation is all about. When we can fucking try to figure out what's going to happen, like what's going to happen, man. Like we hit the nail on the head with kind of where the industry was going. So
yeah, we had some good crystal balls working.
Crystal balls. Bold Alpha Wolfpack member for 7 months says, when do we see the ramp up of next gen?
For
like Xbox, marketing wise,
next year, I would imagine. If it's 2026 next gen for Xbox, right? I would imagine a game potentially doing the same thing they did with the Series X at the Keighley Game Awards, announcing that it was coming, or at their showcase next year. I could see it.
Yeah, I think next year you maybe have a harder tease.
Yes,
and then
correct.
like the year after that, you start to have maybe like more clear conversation about next gen titles and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
and then we'll if it is 2026 release, then they'll be like throughout the year, like kind of. But we'll see if it's 2026 or 2027. Like, I don't think it'll be 2028. I think it'll be before that.
No, I think they're pushing 2026.
I think they're pushing for that. We'll see if they make it.
Yes.
Like that's
but we'll start hearing smoke for sure next year, right? We'll start getting leaks because things will start. If they're going to go 2026, right, late next year, like production is going to have to be starting to swing in. Companies are going to start having the specifications about what that's going to look like, especially if they're doing some new stuff with AI. If this is the technological leap that Sarah Bond is claiming it's going to be, if it is going to be a hybrid, if they are going to start bridging the gap between console and PC in some direction, we're going to hear about that because there's going to be people who start knowing things, right? And that's when the leaks start happening. We'll start getting bits and pieces here about what that's looking like, or at least ideas about what the direction is that they're going. That will for sure be next year. But I think they tease it. If it is 26, they will tease it next year, like they did with the Series X at the Game Awards, where they showed it off. And then the following year is when we start, like Mav said, getting specifications, start getting a handle on what games are going to be there for launch. Which again, me and Mav think could be the best launch lineup in history if they time this all out correctly, bro. I mean, there'll be a lot of cross-gen games in there, but they still could be massive games that will be at launch. Like,
at that time, that nobody's going to care about cross-gen like they did before. HNS 1998 member for 4 months says, "Imagine how good Halo will look on Unreal Engine 5." I think Halo looks fucking amazing on Slipspace. I'm sure it'll look great.
Beautiful game.
I'm more curious about how it will play and feel.
Yeah, that's always going to be the question.
Halo's going to be always a top individual game.
But as things evolve, Mav, things change, right?
Yeah.
So it might be time, right? It might just be time.
I know it'll look better than that Metroid.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, it'll look better than you know what else I know that's looking better than all that shit right now, Mav?
What?
Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2.
Oh yeah, it looks good.
They dropped a new video for anybody who's waiting on this. And I know there's a lot more people that are starting to get on board with this. We've been on board with this early. Focus has been doing a fantastic job showing this game off. The delay, I think, that they had on this game is doing wonders for this game. There are more and more people, especially now that we don't have a Phoenix Collection. I think there was some people like, that's cool, but really, if Phoenix Collection is real and we're getting that this year, it's going to be Gears season, right, for our third-person shooters. Well, now that we're not getting the Phoenix Collection, at least that we know of right now, right, Warhammer 40K is going to scratch that Gears itch. Okay, it might not be the exact same style game, but they just put out a new video today, deep diving the campaign. It's 5 minutes long, so it's not like a deep dive, but they did talk about it throughout the video. I highly recommend you all go watch this in 4K if you've got the ability, or just go watch it in general, because they showed off what the campaign's going to be like. They showed off what the co-op operation missions are going to be like, and they showed off what the multiplayer was going to be like. And they also said that they've got more to reveal soon because it's coming out September. So there's more that they're hiding, but this newest video, if they pull this all off, if this controls well, if there aren't any performance issues, Mav, we are going to be slaying thousands of Tyranids at a time. And that's the alien-like species, right? The Xenos that you fight as Space Marines, okay? For anybody who doesn't know Warhammer 40K lore. They look like aliens. I mean, again, when you look at them, they're kind of rip off from aliens. But anyways, 40K's got tons of lore. But that's what we're going to be fighting here. But my God, they showed off the swarm tech that they have for this, which is just basically they can have thousands of enemies on the screen at the same time in real time. Looks so damn good. It is so freaking gory. The multiplayer looks good, Mav. 6v6. They're going to have team deathmatch. They're going to have capture. They're going to have basically the modes that you consider customization galore that you earn through the game. So go check out Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. I think this could be a late entrance into the Game of the Year conversation. I'm not going to say it's going to win, but I'm just saying it could be in the conversation if they pull this off. Warhammer 40K games are hit or miss. I own a lot of them. I've tried a lot of Warhammer 40Ks. Some are good, some not so good, and a little bit of everything in between. This could be the best Warhammer 40K game we have ever gotten in history, which is still saying a lot because there's a lot of Warhammer 40K games out there. But my God, is this one looking good. So go check out that new video, folks. I'm just running through some smaller stuff, Mav. If you got anything you can think of that you want to talk about before we get out of here too. There was a lot of game announcements today, smaller games, older games. I got to talk about this one too real quick, Mav. I got to talk about this one just for a minute here. There was this random announcement earlier this week. I don't know how many people caught it. I reposted it. Okay, for everybody. There's an OG Xbox game that was supposed to be on the OG Xbox. Then it was supposed to be on the 360. And then it became vaporware. Never showed up. It's a game called Captain Blood. I'd never heard of this game at all, right? So I have no history with this game. It is obviously a pirate game. But a publisher called SNEG has brought this game back from the dead, okay, and is publishing it everywhere. It's coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, and PC this fall. And they launched a trailer this week. Again, go look at this trailer. And I dare you to at least not tell me that it looks fun. You may look at it because it's not like they're not trying to update it to be current gen graphics. They're updating it so that it's going to be 4K, but it's got that 360 look. In fact, it reminds me of Fable in some ways. The art, and I love that art direction that we got in the Xbox 360 with those chunky characters, Mav, if you know what I mean, the cartoony kind of chunkier characters. That's what this is. But the action, the actual combat itself, you got ship combat in this, right? As a pirate, you got ship combat. You got ship to ship fighting, melee fighting, which even Skull and Bones can't do for some freaking reason. So you were boarding ships and you are fighting hand to hand. And the hand to hand combat, you've got swords, you've got guns, obviously, as a pirate. All of that, it looks like they've got combos. It looks like it's got freaking power ups. It looks like you have skills. This game, out of the blue, not on my bingo card anywhere, shows up on a random Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. Or maybe was it yesterday or was it Tuesday? Anyway, shows up. I watched it. I clicked into it because I was like, oh, whatever. It's pure Xbox. They threw out this game, Captain Blood. Oh, it was supposed to be on the OG. Oh, it's coming out this fall. What is this? Oh, it's Pirates. I watched the video and I was like, okay, I'm sold. I'm sold. So if you like that older style, if you can get away with playing a game that might not look current gen, but obviously should play, frame rate wise, right? Should look pretty decent and play pretty well. If you are into that and you like pirates like I do, go check out Captain Blood, please. It looks fantastic. I'll throw the let me grab the YouTube link here. So I'll throw the YouTube link in there so you guys don't have to go search for it since it's such a random freaking thing.
Yeah.
I'll share it out in the chat here, but go check this game out because I'm sold.
Captain
Blood, bro. It just looks fun as fuck. Again, just a pure 360 game that we talk about all the time that is just fun. Again, these games nowadays, yes, it's great. We get our Hellblade 2s and all that kind of stuff that are very emotional and that raise and set the bars and all this kind of stuff. Sometimes I just want a kick-ass, fun 360 style game, man. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to get. I just posted a link for a YouTube video. You guys can go watch that.
Right on, bro.
Yeah, right on. I had to talk about that one. Limited run games today. Oh no, I'll talk about this one too. Ubisoft Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary launches the 25th map. They're redoing the Beyond Good and Evil.
Did they already did this once, right?
They did update it once, but this is more of a remake. Like they've updated the graphics this time. It is going to be 4K 60 frames, improved graphics, speed run mode, updated achievements, new controls and audio auto save, cross save features, anniversary gallery. And this was something that didn't look like it was supposed to be because they deleted the tweet, but it's coming. And Mav, we found out that they're going to have a special mission that's been added to this game that is going to bridge between Beyond Good and Evil 1 and the supposed Beyond Good and Evil 2 that has now been in development for 9 years? I think we are coming up on 9 years next year.
Yeah. I was going to ask, so this is the 20th anniversary collection or game edition coming out, right?
Of the first one, yes.
I was wondering if it was the 20th anniversary of the announcement of Beyond Good and Evil 2.
We're not there yet. We're getting close, though. We are getting closer.
Almost halfway.
All right. But no, but they are actually going to put a mission in there that bridges the gap between 1 and 2. So obviously 2's still cooking. Why would you add this mission? So, but yes, for all you Beyond Good and Evil fans, yeah, man, this is going to be fun. I'm not saying I'm not going to pick it up at some point. I probably will pick it up at some point, rerun through Beyond Good and Evil. I'd love to. This sounds cool that they're doing this. And I saw some video from it. It looks really dope too. So it looks like it's good. It looks like they've done some work to it. So that was a big announcement today. Limited Run Games today, Mav, had a big show. And again, I don't like them as a company for different reasons I won't get into here. But Limited Run Games, we all know they do physical editions of copies that sometimes games that are only digital or older games. But there was a bunch of stuff announced here. Let me bring up, hold on. I had it, and then of course I lost it. Because I had some of the games, but I wanted to go through the list. Hold on for just a second, folks, because there was a lot today. One of them that I'm really looking forward to, actually a couple of them that I'm really looking forward to, but one of them was big for me. And these aren't going to be like updated games. These are just basically the original games coming back out. So let me see here. Let me start at the top. So Limited Run Games 2024. This is from Wario64. Shout out to Wario64. So Dark Forces Remaster. They're coming with physical copies this time around. Pre-order tomorrow for Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation. So if you guys are big Dark Forces fans, yes, that was already launched, but they're doing the physical copy. Valis, the Phantasm Soldier Collection 3 is out in September. Rain World 2024 is also going to be coming. The Fighting Force Collection, Mav. Do you remember Fighting Force, the games?
What were they?
Old school brawlers.
Yeah,
old school brawlers collection. Feature Age.
Yes.
Yeah, Brawler. Yes. They're putting out the collection. Skipping Xbox. Okay. But Switch, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and Steam, the Fighting Force Collection. Dope. Okay. Again, not updated. So you're going to be playing the old versions, okay? Like PS1, PS2 era versions, but these games have nostalgia galore. I'm all in for a Fighting Force collection, okay? Then we got Rename coming fall 2024. I don't know what that is, but it looks like an 8-bit side scroller. Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, is getting a Switch physical copy. Mav, you going to pick up a copy for your Switch?
No.
But a lot of people will because it's added to collection, right? Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, is getting a Switch version. Then we got Cosmic Fantasy Collection 2 physical. These were Eastern games coming to Switch as well in 2024. Then we got G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra physical edition. I don't know who's getting that because it's not listed there. Then I get Assault Sweet Leonis 2 Saturn Tribute coming 2024. That is one hell of a title. That is coming to PlayStation and Switch. That looks like a mech game. I'm going to have to check that one out. I'm not quite sure which that one is. Then we got Snow Bros Wonderland coming in 2024. Okay. That looks weird as hell too. Interesting. I have to look at some of these. I didn't even know all these. Gimmick 2 coming 2024. Nice. This one is coming to Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox and PC. Let's see here. Then what else do we got? We got Penny's Big Breakaway physical. We've got the Beyond Good and Evil 20th anniversary, June 25th. We'll have physical plus collector's edition. Pre-orders July 12th. So they're doing a physical for that. Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch physical edition. All right, Jay and Silent Bob fans out there, love the movies. Toxic Crusaders is also getting a physical edition. Hitman Blood Money Reprisal is getting a physical edition for fall 2024. This is the one. Fear Effect re-release coming 2025 to PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Switch, and Steam. Skipping Xbox again. This was PlayStation back in the day. Fear Effect was this. Okay, you got to think PlayStation 1, guys. They did an anime action game that was on 3 or 4 discs. 3 or 4 discs due to the animation that they put the work into. Okay, it's blocky. It doesn't look like anything like nowadays, whatever. But this game was awesome. They tried to bring it back in a tactical version. I've actually played the tactical Fear Effect that they dropped here. Fear Effect was one of my favorite games on PlayStation 1. Like, I love this game. I played this game to death back in the day. Every time my roommate came home, he'd be like, dude, you playing Fear Effect again? I'm like, yes, I'm playing Fear Effect again. Fear Effect is dope as hell. Go look at it. So this game coming back and being able to be played because it's coming to Switch, PlayStation, and Steam. You know I'm going to be picking it up on Steam. Dope. So I had to just make that. It's personal. Whatever. I'm being selfish, but I love Fear Effect. Fear Effect coming back is dope as fuck. Starship Troopers Extermination Physical Edition is coming. Lollipop Chainsaw Repop, another one you guys know I am so freaking hyped for that they're bringing back to current gen. Even though they're not doing a ton of work to it, even though some people are going to look at it and go, ugh, Lollipop Chainsaw is freaking awesome game. Anybody who's played it knows it. It's a cult classic. I rebought it for Xbox 360. The fact that I won't have to fire up my 360 now to play it. Again, don't know about the soundtrack, how much of the licensed music, which was a big part of the game, is coming back from that time period. Again, it's a time capsule. It's one of those games that you had to be around for, but it is getting a physical launch for Xbox, PlayStation 5, and Switch from limited run games as well. I don't think I'll be pick up the physical copy. I'm cool on that. I own the 360 version. I'm good. Double Shake 2025 is coming. Ghosts in 2025 for PC, Mac, and consoles. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland is coming soon to PlayStation. Gex Trilogy, Mav. This is coming everywhere. Do you remember Gex?
Yes.
Super dope.
The lizard.
James Bond lizard. Yes. It's coming this fall.
Nice.
Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. Fuck yes. I will be checking out the Gex trilogy at some point. Shantae Advance coming to 2025 for PC and consoles. That's dope. Shantae is a cool side-scrolling genie anime. I love their game. Like, I played a couple of her games. Love them to death. They are really dope. So that is coming. I think this was the Game Boy Advance version, but I could be wrong. But I think that's the one that never got launched on official consoles. So that is coming. Then we got Ninja 5.0. Physical pre-orders go on sale July 5th. Clock Tower, the old Clock Tower Rewind is coming out.
That's the one I wanted to talk. My brother actually texted me about this.
Okay.
And he rarely ever texts me about games or anything. Like,
wow, really?
Because this is one of those games that, like, we played together back on old school PS1 or and
it was more puzzle psychological horror, right?
Yeah, and we played it like taking turns and stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, like,
me and my roommates used to do all the time.
It was so fucking scary for the time, man. Like, it really, like, it was hard. Like, it would be random things happen.
Right.
Like, you didn't really understand what would cause the events to. So sometimes you would hide and, like, nothing would happen, and sometimes you wouldn't. Like, sometimes something would happen or whatever. Like, so anyway, we remember this, and there's a Clock Tower Rewinds coming out for
That's
everything.
Dope, bro.
Yeah,
for everything.
So,
Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, Steam. So yeah, everybody's getting this one.
Yeah, it's just
That's
crazy
dope,
to see that franchise. Several other games from Clock Tower franchise carried on, but the first one is what originally I just really remember. So this is one I might actually pick up just to remember it. Like, hide in the locker or the bathroom stall and see if the scissor guy gets you. Like,
that's I love those stories, man. I never knew you played Clock Tower. I remember a buddy playing it. I never played it. Like, again, I could play certain ones back then, but again, Clock Tower just never interested me. But that's dope, man. That's a cool ass story that you got, man. I didn't know. I didn't even know your brother. Yeah, that's sweet, man. See, that's why these games need to come back, even if they are in their original forms, even if they're not full remakes, just so that they're playable again, man, easily. Yeah, that's all I care about. I think it's dope. So awesome. Cool, man. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it when it shows up.
Trailer looks pretty good, actually.
Hell yeah, why not? Tomba, of course, is coming. We know about Tomba 2, but Tomba 1 is coming. Switch and PlayStation are the only ones advertised on Tomba itself. Same with Tomba 2 is coming to PlayStation 5, 4, Switch, and Steam 2. That's the pink-haired caveman, if anybody remembers the Tomba games, right? Tomba was pretty big. Then we got another one that I'm semi-interested in, too. I didn't play this one as much as Gex, but Bubsy is back, Mav.
Bubsy. Yeah.
Bubsy is back, and it's coming everywhere. So Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam, and they're doing a collection. So, okay, cool. Again, coming soon. We didn't get a date, but it's coming from Atari.
Not to be confused with Volvi from the Devolver.
No, not which they need to make a Volvi game at this point. Devolver. You need to do
they
one.
will. You got to think they will.
Imagine they will put out something. But yeah, so that was limited run games today. A ton of games, right? Coming in all different forms. Some of it just physical, that have been digital only, but some of them coming, back from the dead to live on, right? Which I appreciate. Again, yes, emulators exist. Yes, there's different ways to play all these games somehow, some way. But just the fact that they're going to make it easy for everybody, for those of us that do like the nostalgic stuff, for sure. Like, this is going to be dope. I'm picking up for sure Fear Effect. I'm picking up for sure Gex at some point. Obviously, I check out this Assault Suit Leonis. I need to check that one out. That one looks super cool. So, a Fighting Force collection, I will probably be picking up too, because I love brawlers from back in the day. I thought they were dope as fuck. So, yeah, that was pretty cool today. So, lots of cool new games showing up this year and into next year as well. I think that's it, man. I don't think I have anything. Jez has high praise so far. He got to play Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah.
For a bit. And even what he's played so far, he is saying is his leading candidate for Game of the Year next year already.
Wow.
So high praise for Monster Hunter Wild. Again, Capcom, I've been really impressed with it. Capcom don't miss, bro.
Yeah, and speaking of Capcom, I gotta give just a shout out to this. Like, I was given Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection a little shit just because of everybody's reaction to it not being on Xbox. I think it's great that it exists. But I do want a new Marvel vs. Capcom, please. However, I gotta give a shout out to this fucking cover art for Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection.
Yeah,
it's just fucking amazing. Like, I want this poster for my room.
It'd be a really cool poster.
I want that. Anyway,
nope. I agree with you. They do a nice job with everybody. Like, basically all the characters are in there. Which
it's just cool. Badass.
Yeah, it is badass. So, oh my God, Mav. Well, Mav, we didn't do a show for a week. We just roll on in here, do a nice little 3-hour show for everybody. Have a good time. Get some rants in. Get some talk about games, booty interviews. Jesus, we had a little bit of everything today. So, you got anything else you want to wrap up on? Or are we good?
I think we're good, man. This was fun. It's fun talking games and catching up. We'll have a show tomorrow night too. Yeah. We'll see if anything crazy happens in the next 24 hours.
You never know in this industry, man, what tomorrow will bring.
What will
Fridays used to be Bad News Friday
tomorrow?
Yeah. Bad News Friday used to be all the rage. We haven't had, too many Fridays where they've dumped like they used to, but just never know, man. Could be Bad News Friday. Well, let's hope not. Because we're on a good swing here, man. Listen, y'all. Thank you all for joining us again after a week. And again, not the biggest news week this week. Obviously, Nintendo Showcase was kind of the dominating factor this week. Outside of a couple of small things, the booty interview and that stuff that happened today, but otherwise not a big week coming off a Showcase week where everybody's energy levels were through the roof, including all of you who are joining all of our shows for Showcase week. It was massive. Like, I could feel it. And the energy this week, even just kind of in the community, is different too. The booty interview kind of stirred up some stuff again today. But outside of that, people have been talking a lot about games. People have been talking nonstop about Gears. They're hyped for Fable. They're hyped for even like Avowed. Again, this is what it's all about, right? And I've seen a lot of people sharing stuff, talking about all the stuff that they're excited for. That's what we need more of. The nonsense is, in a way, to me, and again, I've cleaned up my timeline pretty good, but I still go, check out certain things just to see what people are saying. But even there, it's kind of like people are losing energy a little bit.
Yeah.
For the console war shit, right? It's just kind of losing it. And maybe that's because of Xbox's evolution. But goddamn, is it not refreshing just to see people talk about gaming? My God, the Fallout 76 community right now is hyped, bro. Like, they are posting stuff nonstop. They got all these new players. And again, that's one of the best communities in the world for new players. They're helping out new players. They're building all this shit. Man, just shout out to all the great people, including you in the chat, who are here for the passion and the love of games first. And you guys show it off wherever and however you do, including posting to X or whatever social media sites you do frequent, or being in our chats, being excited with us. That's what this is freaking all about. That's why we started doing this. So thank you all for coming back for another episode of PM in the PM. Pong and Mav in the PMs on Thursdays. Listen, y'all, we're going to get you out of here. So Mav, You just said it. Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. You're gonna have a full slate. You're gonna have a Mavcast. You're gonna be streaming games. What do you else think you're gonna be doing, man?
Man, that's a good question. I'll get back to you when I know the answer on all of that.
It's gonna be on a basis.
Tomorrow we will have Xbox Ultimate podcast for sure. I feel like doing a Mavcast after seeing this clip from this IGN article.
Which one?
I saw somebody clipped a quote from their article about games to expect for this year.
Yeah. I didn't see this one.
It says Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo outlined what to expect from PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch, respectively, during each company's summer showcase. Sony's got Astrobot, Lego Horizon Adventures, and Cogcord due out in 2024. Microsoft has Avowed, Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, and World of Warcraft, The War Within. And Nintendo has The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom, Mario and Luigi Brothership, and creeping into early 2025, Donkey Kong Country Returns. So they chose
always a fucking slant. Always.
Exactly.
Xbox tax is real. You all can fuck off that think it doesn't. It does exist at these places.
And they even have to go to the way to mention an early 2025 game for Nintendo. Not like just to add it in there, but like they put two expansions. They put two fucking expansions on the Xbox. Didn't even mention Indiana Jones or like
Age of Mythology,
Ara, like Age of Mythology, Flight Sim.
Did they have Avowed in there?
It was Avowed, Diablo 4, Vessel of Hatred, and World of Warcraft. The War Within is what to expect for Xbox.
Just always forget something, and it just always so happens to be on Xbox. It just so happens. It's just coincidence. Just coincidence.
Yeah, like
fuck off.
There's like anyway. It's just fucking hilarious. Like if you were to read this article and not really know, right?
Yep.
You would be comparing the releases for this year based on this. And you'd be like, oh, wow, it looks like.
And that's the masses go there.
Nintendo and PlayStation has, like, I don't fucking. Anyway.
Oh, my God. I'm surprised they didn't say Game of the Year contender already for Astrobot.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do it. Fuck. Oh, my God. That's a crazy, bro. All right. Well, so we're going to do a show for sure tomorrow night.
Yes.
So we'll be there for that.
Yes.
And then whatever happens later. But you should have FSP on Monday, right, too?
Yeah, we'll have FSP Monday. We'll have we'll be back here Thursday, and then we'll be back here again on Friday again.
Oh yeah, they didn't even mention Shattered Space DLC for Starfield either. Jesus.
We literally just had the showcase. Is what the article is about. Yeah, you know what I mean. And like,
it's crazy, bro. Burn, baby, burn. Just keep burning yourselves down. Anyways, well, Mav, I can't wait to talk to you tomorrow night and talk to the family, whoever's going to be there, Fuzzy and whoever else is going to show up. It's going to be a good time. We got some stuff to get into after you guys haven't talked for a week either. So it's going to be fun tomorrow night. So everybody be there for Xbox Ultimate. Listen, y'all, again, you know how to find me. Pong Soul, Xbox, Pong Soul X, formerly known as Twitter, Pong Soul on Steam, GOG, Epic, wherever. Find me, I'll find you back. And then obviously tomorrow night I will be there for Xbox Ultimate, so you better be there too. 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. We're gonna have some good conversations. Saturday morning, it looks like we are going to have Living Split Screen. We did have to take last weekend off. Steele had some real life stuff come up. Got to take care of stuff. He's got some changes going on. He's got some stuff going on. Good stuff, but it's stuff that needs to be taken care of. So we are going to be there as of right now, Saturday morning. So Living Split Screen, all one word, live, raw, and uncut. Me and my brother Steele. And if we're there, you're going to get 3+ hours, probably 4+ hours from us, especially since we didn't get to talk Gears last weekend. It's going to be a Gears fun show. I can't wait to talk to Steele. I've been waiting to talk to Steele about Gears. And then everything else on top of it. You know what you guys get there. Living Split Screen every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time. Buckle up and be ready. We'll get you from your morning to your afternoon. And then we're still on vacation, hiatus, whatever you want to say for the Shop podcast. So again, PTK will let everybody know when we're going to come back, but we are still on vacation. So Saturday night, plenty of other shows I'm sure you can find, but Go play games like you normally would. But we will let you know when the Shop Podcast is back. And then otherwise, it starts all over again next week. That's right. Mr. Boomstick is back from LA. He is re-energized. He had so much fun down there, living some of his dreams out, meeting so many cool ass people. Someday I hope to be there too. But Boom, does it 5 days a week. But Tuesdays, Xbox Factor Podcast, all good things green, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Be there for that. Thursday, me and Mavo, we'll be right back here, right? Same bat channel, same bat time for PM and the PM next weekend. 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Central Time. It's the golden age of gaming, people. It really is. God, we are in prime form too right now. It is getting better and better every year. Last year was the GOAT year. This year is probably going to surpass the GOAT year from last year. And next year's already lined up to be another GOAT year.
God, 2025 Fable, dude. Oh my God.
We get a Clockwork Revolution and Fable in the same year, which for me is just like, oh my God. And Exile is going to blow people's minds. When Clockwork Revolution comes. I'm
South of Midnight now too, to add to that list.
South of Midnight,
That's just Xbox games too. Like,
we got Doom.
We got Doom. Oh my God.
Next year.
Yes. Dude, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, it is gonna be nuts, man. Oh, we are
maybe PlayStation finally has a game.
Maybe. We'll see. It's probably gonna be a games of service, but anyways, It is what it is. Maybe they can get Astrobot 2 out by next year.
Maybe.
Yeah. So anyways, love you all. Golden Age is here. Play what you love what you play. Thanks for all for joining us again. Nothing but love and respect. Thank you so much for giving us your time, which is more valuable than any other commodity in the entire world, is your time, because it's always limited. Love you all. Talk to y'all real soon. Mav, get us out of here, brother.
Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.